the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
Temptations coming, gon' fill up my cup. Feeling weak, gon' hit my line, knocking, I pull up. 2 or 3, ride in his name, and you know what's up. Demons flee when they hear the name. That's
come on, hit the like button.
So and so I'm straight, itching ears. People die daily, but I know when truth is engineered. Tell them store rations, famines coming, and the end is near. You gon' die as prophesied, they tell you not to mention fear. Players come and roll up your sleeves and take one of these. Seen the purge, never mind, you can see it in the streets. Get your passport, cause your ops coming. You need you a man, girlfriend, the cops not coming. Revelations been revealed, no longer with jigsaw. Hit the bank with a mask on and make a withdrawal. It's the new Babylon, baby, everything is legal. Change your name and your zip code and your chromosomes. Yeah, that's martial law, call them Jack Boo. Come to ink your heart on your sleeve like a tattoo. If you don't cooperate, you ain't see us on no street corners prophesying, telling you it might pop off today. Pray the most high, keep a hedge around me. High time we gotta see this what the prophets wanna see. See my own family turn their back on me. Enemies screaming peace when we know what that means. Whoa, we in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain, you be taken if you sin it. The evils will increase, this is only the beginning.
Come on.
In the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant, as it was written. The most are sending plagues on this earth as before. Even the people you love the most, the Bible said they turn to foe. Protect your family, keep them close. Resident evil creeping close. Still sleep, you don't want to see. If you woke, then you gon' know when it be time to go. Ain't gonna be stopping, no. The enemy watching close. But the most I got is though. Better get your mind right. This all happened before. Remember Lot's wife and Noah, it's right at the door. The end is near, it's real. You got that still, but it won't matter unless you seal with the Holy Spirit. And if for real, I'm just keeping it 144. Yeah, your soul on the line. I just wanna put it on your mind. Now's the time to draw the line. I don't speak with riddles. It's left or right, no middle. Or you wanna be hot and cold. You don't wanna be turned to spittle. You block your blessings, trying to live your life just like the wicked. You tripping. They time is ending while I was beginning. It's written. The opposition, man, we on the mission. Repentance. You ain't forgiven if you ain't forgiven. You get it? Don't spend your life living in competition. If it ain't by Christ up in your life, then you must keep your distance. Yeshaya, my king, Ahaya, my papa, Rawak, my mama. Not all that power, nada can stop us. We good. Endure this fighting as always. Don't stress, stay blessed and get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. We in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain, you be taken if you sin it. The evils will increase, this is only the beginning. As in the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant in his white linen. It's about damn time, it's consummation of times. We judging Optimus Prime. Your cousin dropping the dime, so you in the coat. Or like that folk Christ said, all hell about to begin. Before we crack, I'm warming up and sitting on shares just like a hen. Before the cock crow, they gon' knock down dogs. No Pimp C, Lil Kiki, Cyclops like Skull. See the beam in your eye, I can spot that mold. Plus the vengeance of the Lord, plus Christ my home. Ready to insert they medical mercs. They ready to purge, then pedal the hearse. They prophesying for the profit, but the people sign with no profit. See, I'ma tell like lobsters, you a shrimp, scampi, imposter. But the hope when you run, no eyes are cold. Blow the trumpet because some might not know. It's still like a diamond, we rest in 1,000. The 7 is climbing, we on heavenly timing. Better get it shaky if you can't run from a dog. A higher was I, you know, we roaming the woods like a hog. Decomposing their motives like them other parts that be under a law. We can see in the fog, we the chosen, not folding a hopeless media fraud. Wizard of Oz, take heed to the call.
And not obey the voice of my teachers. That means during the whole process, the teachers were given instruction. And we decided during the most prominent time in this earth, the most prophetic time in this earth, after all the works we put forth, after all the love we showed towards the Most High prior, we decided at the very last hour not to listen. He set up teachers to instruct the people. And anyone claiming that they're not following teachers and they just led by the Spirit and read the Bible by themselves, guess who's in the house with you? Guess who your teacher is? The devil. Satan is your teacher. The Most High has an order in heaven and on earth. And it behooves every one of the people within this earth, with total humility, to find that teacher and give them double honor, or you'll be out there by yourself. And guess what, brothers and sisters? No one can contend against this hour of temptation by themselves. No one.
Hour of temptation. Man, what a work. Man, what a work. Shout out go to my brothers and sisters out there in the Midwest, the Texas area. All praises be to the Most High. I'll probably play it a bit later, but it's profound that Malak sent me that video right before the broadcast. Blessing, brothers and sisters. Yes, we are in the hour of temptation, and I wanted to premiere that, and we have a lot more music coming down the pipeline, as well as we're going to be setting up a tour throughout the United States and throughout the world, where we'll be dropping all the music, all of us together, proselytizing, warning the people, and giving everyone who believe in Christ an opportunity to come under the hedge before it's too late. Before it's too late. That's right, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricochet. It's a little early today. It's okay. I thought I would do an early broadcast so I can get out early. I have a lot to do. And I've put together a great discussion today, and I hope you all will listen and take heed. For those who like that particular video, let me put it up. Let me paste that for you. I'll paste it in the chat this way. How you doing, Maria? All my familiar brothers and sisters out there, Danita and all of you, shalom. The link is right there in the comments so that you can always go and support the brothers who are working around the clock to bring forth righteous, edifying, prophetic music. All right. So there is the link. And there's a lot I would like to talk about in the midst of this. I may bring in Malak at the end of this broadcast so he can let us know what he has going with music, production. And that was Malak behind a lot of the video production. So he's dealing with that on a serious professional level. Not only him, but also Elder Iraq. They're getting behind the camera, showing forth all the gifts the Most High blessed them with to progress this knowledge all the way towards Zion. Now, Before I go into the broadcast, I would be amiss if I didn't tell everyone that we are in week 7 of our Hebrew and Bible Academy. We were about to do the roundtable discussion for week 7, but I'm still getting the format together as well as the guests who will be there live in the academy so that we can structure it in an efficient way where all those who are around the table will have their own input for solution. We'd have questions, cue cards, and it will be a time, that's right, a time scheduled discussion within 2 hours on why man and woman cannot come on one accord in the most prophetic times of our lives. And the greatest question is that we're going to ask, for what reason a man or woman, for what excuse a man or woman can utilize, what excuse can one utilize for not doing their roles according to God? What excuse? What excuse can a man give God to why he didn't do his purpose according to God? The same for a woman. Whether you hurt, scorned, whether you came from a nuclear family with good upbringing, or whether or not you lack coming up. Is that an excuse not to bring forth your total purpose under God, regardless of your circumstance? And we're going to talk about that. What excuse can we utilize that's all right to say, well, guess what? I can't be a man according to God's role. Or I can't be a woman and submit according to God's role. What excuse can we give God? And I'm going to talk about that. And it's not going to be any browbeating or making accusations. At the end, it will be about healing and going forward so that we can perform our roles according to God, regardless of the past. So we're going to talk about that in week 8 of the Academy. This week we'll be dealing with the 4 beasts of Daniel, breaking down the 4 prophetic empires that was prophesied in the Old Testament. And we're going to give the archaeological and, that's right, historical proof that everything the Most High showed Daniel came to pass. Guess what? 100%. It wasn't one prophecy that was given to Daniel that failed. That and more this coming Sunday. If you're interested, go to historytimes.org. We're in week 6. We got a little less than 2 more months in this academy, so we're still dealing with invites. So if you like to come in and become a part of it, we'll give you all past lessons before week 7 comes in Sunday. Now, historytimes.org for that. Now that's enough because it's time to segue into the broadcast. What is the broadcast? That's right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The broadcast today. And bless you, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for your attendance. And please, as you know, hit the like button. Hit the like button for us, please, please. Today we're talking about a serious topic. Israel at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, why am I going into this particular lesson? Okay, we had a brother earlier who came on and asked, what do shalom means? Someone popped in, and it seems like that person had an Asian name. I don't know if they were Asian, and asked, what does shalom means? Shalom is a Hebrew greeting, or shalom in the ancient Hebrew. It only means peace. Peace, blessings. Okay? It's a greeting. So when you hear Hebrews say shalom, it's nothing more than a cordial and respectful greeting in our ancient tongue, Hebrews. So you might ask, well, what do you see some black people and others, Hispanics and others, in the chat speaking Hebrew? Well, we are the original Hebrews according to bloodline and prophecy. We're the children of Israel. There's no such thing as black people, Puerto Rican people, Indian people. Those were bywords. Those were names placed on us during our time of servitude. God never called anyone black, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian. These are bywords. These are labels Okay, labels of servitude. We are the children of Israel. Okay, so that's our greeting. Shalom. Nice to meet you. And since we're talking about Israel, I want to talk about Israel at the bottom of the pyramid. And what does this mean for us spiritually, physically, and also politically, right? Right now in the news right now, right? I'm going to show you how we bring this around full circle, right? Let me pull this up so you all can see it in the news, right? Right now in the news, all right? Congress and others are having these hearings, right? UFO whistleblower says United States recovered non-human biologics. Non-human biologics recovered by U.S. government, says UFO. Aliens, right? Now, some people might ask, well, why is the government talking about UFOs and aliens right now? And should we pay attention to that? Well, I'm under the understanding that anytime they put out something to have the world look one way, they're doing something else in the areas we're not watching. And understanding how some of these esoteric secret societies work, brothers and sisters, they usually use word and code, alien. We should be viewing another alien outside of this whistleblower's aliens. At the same time, they're saying that there's some aliens America have been interacting with for ages with technology beyond the United States. There's other aliens that they want us to ignore. Now, not that I'm saying that there isn't any truth to the United States as well as the world governments interacting with what you would call higher beings. They have always been controlled as servants by higher beings. Even back before the flood, when the fallen angels came down and set up cities, had Cain as king, constructed weights and measures to get all products under the power of one empire to destroy God's people back then, the sons of Seth, right? So I'm going to put it out there. They're not, when you see these whistleblowers, folks, number one, understand that there's always a misdirection with what they're bringing forth. If you want to deal with aliens and who are their true controllers, I'll tell you right now. I have a book right now, right? And I'm going to deal with it in the academy, and I talked about it. The Encyclopedia of Ancient Giants in North America. Okay? And I'm going to deal with some of the science because all through this book, when you do the research, since the so-called Europeans founded this world, they've been interacting with Nephilim, who was on this side. Okay? The North American Indians were in war with these so-called aliens or giants or Nephilim, the Bible calls them, in one war from whence George Washington witnessed and chronologized. Also, the first temple in Philadelphia, there's a great seat that no man can sit on because what? They're too short to sit on it. And people wondered, who had that grand seat in Philadelphia, right there near City Hall, that Gothic building? It was Nephilim. Okay, what's going on in Area 51? They've always been controlled, folks, by higher being. It's just that you have to go into the Bible to understand their controllers. So all in all, I could care less about them doing what? Bringing forth speculation on aliens. None of them can actually tell the truth, I believe, and live to actually talk about it. But if you want to know whether or not a higher life form is controlling things, you don't need to listen to a whistleblower. Read the Bible. That higher life force that is controlling things is Satan. He's the alien. And the fallen angels are his cohorts and fall under his authority until our God judges all of them. So I've been blowing the whistle, and others who's using this Bible for a long time, and you'll get more information from our Bible. That's right, whistle blowing than Congress. Now, speaking of that, I claim that I made a statement. I said when they're talking about UFOs, it's a misdirection. It's an outright misdirection. What should we have our eyes on when they speak of aliens? Well, let's go into it. Israelites, we're at the bottom of the pyramid. The same way they dealt with us politically in Egypt, they're dealing with us in these cities throughout all of the world, in these countries now. Here's the one I want, not Anuit coeptus, but Novus Ordo Seclorum, the Great Seal, the esoteric seal. That's right. This was stamped on the dollar bill. What does this mean? Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? Israelites at the bottom of the pyramid. What does this mean? Order out of chaos, right? So let me break this down for you to why this is so important, this particular broadcast today. Politically, what's going on right now throughout all of the cities and the countries the children of Israel resides or are surviving. Okay? Brothers and sisters, there's an all-seeing eye, which is the eye of Lucifer at the top. And this is us at the base, at the very bottom of the pyramid. Now, in order to keep this status in place, they must create confusion at the base of the pyramid. That's right, the confusion must continue at the base of the pyramid. Now, the confusion is not up here. Why? Because the orders that comes out of chaos begins at the capstone or the top of the pyramid. It's upon the all-seeing eye to control and to confuse the bottom so that they can stay perpetual servants for the elite class. So they need chaos. Chaos is a necessity. Chaos is a necessity. To some degree, there's journals and also what? Articles on this particular concept. It was a Roman concept. Before that, it was an Egyptian concept. Some people ask, and I'm going to go over this, well, Elder Ricard, what do you mean? What do you mean that it was a Roman concept and before that it was an Egyptian concept? Well, it was order out of chaos, misdirection to what led us into total servitude for a little over 200 years in Egypt. Okay, let me break it down to you. When our forefathers Jacob and his sons came into Egypt during the time of famine, we were the what? We were the political hierarchy in Egypt. We were the political hierarchy. At that time, all the Egyptians had to take the gods out of their temples. Only one God could be served, and that's the God who saved the world, the whole Mesopotamian era, by doing what area? by giving Joseph and our family the knowledge on how to store food in wake of a 7-year famine. Now, this is how Egypt consolidated all power. It was because of our people, Egypt became rich. The Shemitic Israelites who came into Egypt with the knowledge of how to what? How to save the world. We had the science, ingenuity, and understanding from the God of Abraham. Now, instead of the Egyptians respecting our people, saving them, they feared that with all of that ingenuity, we would one day align ourselves with their enemies. With all the science and knowledge that made Egypt great, they feared that we would one day, that's right, circumvent them and overtake their country. So they conspired, order out of chaos. And you know what they offered us? In the book of Jasher, brothers and sisters, I'm going someplace with this, so please take notes of what I'm telling you here. In the book of Jasher, they was able to finesse and misdirect us, order out of chaos, by offering us jobs. And some people say, well, jobs is a good thing. Well, no. Politically, it was about getting our people out of a political position of power and influence from what? From Upper Egypt. We were shaping the legislation. It was about getting us out of position so that they can begin to change the rules politically against us long term. In the book of Jasher, what they did was they offered a serious project of building that we would have to go into different parts of Goshen and other areas to build, to oversee serious projects that would amount to billions of dollars in today's economy. They offered us building projects that we could oversee. But that's right, the knowledgeable within the political ranks had to leave Upper Egypt to oversee these projects. It was all good. The money, the gold, the provisions, the trade, all of that, brothers and sisters, was flowing in. We were getting paid. The only people, the only tribe who suspected something evil, who was suspicious, was the tribe of Levi. The Levites said the Egyptians are greedy people. They don't give up anything for nothing. Why would they allow our people to get all of this cash, jobs, and resources? At the same time, debating and arguing with us at the Capitol. So Levi stayed home. So now, they move us out of Egypt politically. We are rolling in the dough, brothers and sisters, as Israelites. And then, politically, they begin to change the game in Upper Egypt. They began to come up with excuses to why the finances aren't flowing in like they used to. And then after that, guess what? They started to sabotage a lot of the products and a lot of what? The building tools that we would need to continue the projects. Sabotaging our projects so that they can politically turn the people against us from the capital. Order out of chaos. And now if anything go wrong, if the project doesn't meet its timeline, now they begin to blame Israelites. And the political sentiment went from us being celebrated to us being what? You got it. Evil, They was able to swing public opinion against us by separating us only to shape legislation against us. They had to get us out of Egypt first. Upper Egypt at that. And then there was a renegotiation where now the Egyptians had to come in to oversee the project. And then you know how the story goes. It came to a point where they what? Financially starved us out. The only one seeing this coming was Levi, but they had to get us out of the way of their private political discussions first. And this is why, listen to me clearly, I'm going somewhere with this. I have my copious notes here. They trick us politically over and over and over again. They trick us over and over. You have to go into the book of Jasher to see some of these tricks, and you'll realize it's the same modus operandi that the political structure of America and the world continually use against us. Over and over again. They throw us a bone, give us a little hope, but at the end of it, that's what? Guess what? We're between the crosshairs. That's right, getting utterly decimated. So if you want to know what the political agenda of any country is, or any city is, you look at the outcome of the people and you'll understand that what? It was politically constructed to be as is. Nothing by chance. If we are suffering in these cities, guess what? It was because, that's right, that was the plan. Let's go to the book of Exodus real quick. Let's go to the book of Exodus, and then I'm going to read the article and we're going to go into it. Israel at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, when you go into the book of Exodus, brothers and sisters, I need you all to check this out. Right? It tells us after Israel saved Egypt through Joseph, that the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Folks, we were multiplying beyond control in Egypt. And this is what they feared. Not only our knowledge and our influence, which made Israel great. Abraham and our fathers had alliances with other countries that they feared that we would do what? Politically, in our position in Egypt, align ourselves with who? Egypt's past enemies. So they were afraid of us politically, physically, and otherwise. Now, at this time, folks, this was before our people went into Israel. So, in essence, we are Israelites, but living as Egyptian citizens. Remember that. This was before the Most High led the children of Israel over Jordan. So we are Egyptian citizens right here. A divided country with the Egyptians. And guess what? The Egyptians have a love-hate relationship with us right now. Why? Because they need us based on the greatness of our God, right? But they hate us, right? Being intimidated or afraid of what we might become to eventually politically overthrow them. In their minds, they were dealing with a serious paranoia. They were paranoid, love, hate. We love the ingenuity, the greatness, the talent of these people. And because by default, we're great. But we hate the fact that one day they may turn on us. So we must politically control them. Use them, but never allowed them to grow strong enough to overtake us. This is Elder Lawyer. One moment. Oh, this is Elder Lawyer. One moment. One moment. One second, folks. Shalom, Elder Lawyer.
All right. Shalom.
Oh, yes. I can see and hear you loud and clear. That's great. Elder Lawyer is in the house. Let me bring Elder Lawyer in. Thank you for coming in, Elder Lawyer.
Sir, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. You good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for Elder Lawyer. I know I'm doing it a little earlier today, but let's bring you in one moment.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how much you've heard up until this point, right? But you can jump right in with it. If you can, please go to Exodus, the first chapter for me.
Yes, sir. All right, the book of Exodus, chapter 1.
Okay, 1 second. Let me pull you in so they can see you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're there. That's number 1. All right, let me take you down here to go to the Bible and bring you in here. Okay, there you go. All right, Elder Lawyer. I don't know how much you've listened so far, but I can just let you all understand what I'm going into. The order out of chaos, how Israel in Egypt and now were meant to be according to the powers that are in place at the bottom of the pyramid. And their modus operandi is to use order out of chaos, to keep us confused, but at the same time, deal with us politically, to not get in the way of their agenda, their plan they have for world domination. And I also went into how they tricked us out of the political offices and offered us what would amount today a multi-billion-dollar contract to go someplace else to oversee a construct outside of our political positions.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't understand the Bible in of itself explains how we as a people are politically tricked over and over and over again by our oppressors. Christians even say don't go into the Old Testament and all that because they don't want us to understand the political construct that was actually created against us. It's an Egyptian model, right? So now I'm at Exodus 8, and let's go to where Exodus 1 and 8, where there arose a king who knew not Joseph. Come on.
Yes, sir. The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So get them up out of the land. See that, folks? So how did they get us up out of the land? It wasn't through war, because why? We were favored. We were loved, even by many of the Egyptians. But the political construct, the leaders of Egypt, even the priests, feared our multiplying, because eventually we would overthrow them in their minds. And guess what? The gods of Egypt would cease to be worshipped in Egypt, and we would become, that's right, the face of Egypt. They feared this. So Jasher, and guess what? The king that rose up wasn't Ramesses. That's a bold-faced lie. This has nothing to do with Ramesses. Ramesses was never in the picture here. Ramesses came 200 years later from the time we were in Egypt. So that's another bold-faced lie, right? Now, it tells us that they feared us multiplying. Read.
Yes, sir. Moving on to verse number 11.
11.
Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses.
Those were just locations that you can find in the Bible, but these Ramesses wasn't a pharaoh during this time. That's a location of what? Of a king who came up later. So how did they get us to fall? Think about this. They laid heavy burdens on us. Like I mentioned earlier, Elder Lawyer, I don't know if you heard it. The book of Jasher tells us how they tricked us with a multi-billion-dollar contract that you can put in numbers today to go out and build our own constructs where we would have the glory over these constructs and get paid from the business that comes through them. So guess what? They promised us something politically, but then began to sabotage the project to only blame us for its failures later so that the Egyptians can come in and take over the project as taskmasters. And now a serious decline have begun politically against our people. And it has worked perfectly. They got us out of the seat of influence in legislation. Made us what? That's right. Gave us a contract so that we can use that ingenuity and mindset to build what? These constructs. But now there's no political influence in favor for our people, Semites, Israelites in Egypt. We have no representation. So now they just got to sabotage us to a degree in which what? They can now destroy us politically. Read on.
Yes, sir. Verse number 12.
Come on.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
So they had to put what? They had to put a Planned Parenthood in place. A Planned Parenthood type of concept. Right? It's counterproductive if what? We move them politically out of the land, but yet they continue to multiply. If they continue to multiply, then the legislation would have to be leaning towards a growing constituency. There's no way that we can ignore millions of people who are Egyptian citizens without being deemed impartial and racist against these people. So in order for us to not look racist, we have to get in front of them to do what? To stop these people from growing as a nation in Egypt. And understand this. Hence the reason why they've been finagling with our population numbers in America in particular. And no matter where we are, they finagle with our numbers. Number one, on their bogus maps for years, they made Europe, or they made England almost as big. They made the UK almost as big as Africa on their what? On their maps and globes. When you can put the whole UK into Connecticut right now. So they make us believe they're greater than us, but that's not the piece I wanted to focus on. We've been 13 to 15% of the population since they have kept the census. They make you believe that we've never grown, that we're only 13 to 14% of the population in the United States, which is almost impossible. That means for every person that's born, that dies, another must be born in its place to the number. They would have you believe that for every person that died, one is born. So they've been playing with our numbers. Why? If they tell you the exact number of us, then they would have to lean politically towards that constituency and do what? Carve out more of the budget towards that population. I'm dropping something on y'all right now. So they finagle numbers. If we're more than 13%, then they have to align the budget according to that number. And many of us don't even answer the census and all of that. Whatever the case is, they want to keep us at what? A certain percentage in the United States so that they can only be what? Accountable to giving all of our people who built the country 13%. Right? And then they'll have to break that off amongst everyone else based on what gender they identify with, what their sexuality is, whether or not they're brown or black. So guess what? That 13% is cut up in like 20 pieces based on all the minority groups. Whether you're black, identifying as a black man or a black woman, that's two separate groups. So what did they do? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So let's go down, Elder Lawyer, to the 15th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse number 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of the which the name of the one is Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
Come on.
And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
So here it is. Aim towards what? Aim towards the daughters as a constituency. The boys are the threat. We can re-educate the women or the daughters to do our bidding as an Egyptian woman. Even though she's an Israelite, we'll give her caveats if she stand with us against her own nation. We'll educate her. We'll reprogram her. We'll instill benefits if she stands for the political structure. And she can teach the children fear of government. So it doesn't matter how many children the girls have, they'll all be reprogrammed to understand that it's power in standing for Pharaoh, the president. So the less boys, the less men we have to fight in the future. He didn't say kill the daughters, because the daughters can be utilized, what? As human incubators for their nation and other races of people. So either way, they win if the boys are targeted. If the boys are destroyed, guess what? Egypt fears not the prophecy. What prophecy? Of the children of Abraham one day rising into prominence. So he got with the nurses. And it doesn't matter, folks, I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter if jobs are lacking. There'll always be a job in the healthcare field to be a nurse. Okay? That job will always be in place based on the Egyptian model. Because this is the trusting occupation, right? and these people are present for every birth within the world. So this midwife concept, to have a nurse that's for government in place, comes straight out of the Bible. Who they're incentivized if they do what? If they enforce Pharaoh's rules when it comes to birth. This is it right here. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman and see them upon the stools, if he be a son, elder lawyer, 16, if he be a son, this is your son, our sons, your brothers, your nephews. If it be a son, read.
Then ye shall kill him.
Then ye shall kill him. Read.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Let her live. We can educate her to do our bidding. But the boys are a threat. Prophets come through the men. Priests comes through the men. Kings come through the men. Going back, elder lawyer.
Yes, sir.
They want everyone to focus on aliens, while politically, ignoring the real aliens. One moment. 1 second. 1 moment. While politically ignoring the real aliens, politically what's going on. Everyone, elder lawyer, real quick, let me pull you up, is talking about now everyone need to look into the whistleblower of the UFOs. And I said, listen, if they're saying one thing, that they have you paying attention to with some of these horse and pony shows, they're misdirecting you from what we should be looking at when it comes to aliens. Because in esoteric conversation, these are buzzwords for them to understand or to progress their real plan, the same way they had us looking at a building somewhere when really they had us looking at a building to financially aggrandize ourselves while in Egypt, when really the power was the position we were in. They got us to go chase a bag someplace else when shaping the legislation for the bag was where we were. We were in position to dictate what happens with buildings and where the money would go and how things were constructed. Misdirection like they did us in ancient Egypt. The motto, Norvis Odom Seclorum. There's no coincidence that this dollar bill, this emblem or seal, this seal is on the money. Order out of chaos. And it's to keep the all-seeing eyes agenda in place while our people stay what? Perpetually at the bottom of the pyramid. Creating order out of chaos. Writing is chaotic. First, you start with the blank page, the void. You need to find a way to fill the blank document with words, meanings out of nothing. And it says, what is chaos? Chaos is defined as disorder and confusion, and is derived from the Greek word chaos, meaning chasm or void. Chaos can take various forms in our lives, including messiness, uncertainty, confusion, a lack of understanding. This might look like a poorly structured company that lacks clear roles. So in a nutshell, I'm gonna go here in a second, Elder Lawyer. It's showing you how the powers that be, brothers and sisters, utilizes chaos as a tool. To us, chaos is wrong. See, even the Most High says he's not the author of confusion. You can't get to the bottom of anything in the dark. But not on the dark. But if you're working for the dark side, the darkness is everything. You're the all-seeing owl who see into the dark. You're the illuminated one who's in the dark. You use that darkness to gain power. You confuse the people, and through that confusion, they'll do your will if you can convince them that you have the answer to the chaos they've created. See? That's right, folks. They create the chaos. And if you believe in them, you'll believe that they have the answer to it. And that's the whole point. It's a model that was picked up it was used by the Egyptians, picked up by the Greeks, later used by the Romans. And now it's the tool of the elite. And Elder Lawyer, here we go. Fair use. Fair use. Order out of chaos. Do y'all remember George Floyd? Defund the police, no justice, no peace. Racist Trump. Biden isn't Trump. Remember all that? Right after the riots, the whole world caught a cold. Chaos, confusion. But guess what? Order comes out of it. At the same time, no soon as the cold let up, migrants began to flood into the country, and I told people, this is second Esdras. They are stoking a race war, but they need the confusion to come with the legislation against it. The last thing Chicago needed, being a hotbed called Chirac, was for someone, the government, to throw what? Hot gasoline on a stoking fire, which is Chicago. New York. Fair use. Fair use. Listen to this, Elder Lawyer.
Frustration, anger, and confrontations all on display as neighbors in Woodlawn gather to talk about what they call big problems at a nearby migrant shelter. New at 10, CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov takes us through what happened.
Let them talk so they have a voice.
A call for order during a heated meeting at Woodlawn's Apostolic Church of God.
Who's helping me?
The focus? This migrant shelter in the old Wadsworth Elementary School.
I would ask you all to go out there at night, in the middle of the night, and see what goes on.
What's going on, according to community members, is loitering, late-night partying, littering, prostitution, and at least one fight between migrants and residents.
It got a little heated.
Fights between migrants and immigrants. Oh, you think they didn't know this was going to happen? Right? Order out of chaos. The Hegelian dialectic. You cause the problem. Then the reaction, our people destroyed for a lack of knowledge, will react as if we didn't have a part in putting these people in place to destroy us. No matter how much things change politically, even since ancient times of Egypt, things stay the same. And now they're coming with the solution. I'm going to tell y'all today where this goes. Okay, they have an Asian, all due respect, over the police department now over there.
Littering, prostitution, and at least one fight between migrants and residents.
It got a little heated. Objects got thrown.
But many of these residents say they no longer have any tolerance for the disruptive behavior by those seeking asylum here. It's making them feel unsafe.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Let me say this. They got one more time to deal with it, because otherwise, next time they deal with it, they're going to deal with it from the streets. We're going to take over it. Nobody's going to be able to stop us from what we're going to do to them.
Do you hear this? Elder Lawyer, you would have thought that I was in these meetings years ago when I said this is what's going to happen. I said that Chicago and these other places in the inner cities aren't a place to mess with. But they're not sending just regular migrants in here. You have people making allegations or accusations that these are gangs that are coming in from these cities with gang rules and plans to take our people out of the way. The survival of the fittest. If they can get us out of the way, they can have a piece of the American dream, with us being the only obstacle left. And why is that an issue? We're living at a time where our people, Judah in particular, the black man and black woman cannot get on one accord. This is the worst time to be up against a standing army. You can call it refugees. But I told them, here it is. Listen clearly, Elder Lawyer. There's more.
Much of the residents' anger was directed at city officials in attendance, including 20th Ward Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, Chicago Deputy Police Chief Stephen Chung, and Family and Support Services Commissioner Brandy Kanazi. At one point, police had to intervene, breaking up an argument during public comments.
And that absolutely is a problem.
And Alderwoman Taylor says she's now seen some of them firsthand.
The people who are keeping up the trouble are the people who are kicked out of the damn shelter.
All of the city officials here at this meeting promise that they are working for solutions to make the area around the shelter better for the neighborhood and consequences for those asylum seekers who are found to be breaking the rules or the law. But
now, before I play the next video, Elder Lawyer, and please hit the like button, folks. Please hit the like button. Elder Lawyer, before I play the next video, here's the pieces that are missing in this. They're calling this place a shelter. What they're not saying is these were the buildings that were once used for recreational purposes for our children. The buildings they're utilizing used to be our schools, our recreation, a place that we as a people could actually move into what? Trade, ingenuity, science, recreation to stay off the streets, have now become shelters for the replacements. And guess what, folks? None of our people can complain. You get what you vote for. Now, some people might say, who are just politically, into the political structure because you're programmed to think it's just left or right, you'll start to believe, what, is Elder Ricard Shaw a Republican? No. Folks, don't you know the Republicans benefit too? If they can get you to give up that neighborhood, then now they can now give all the jobs at pennies on the dollar to your replacements. What better way to capitalize in a capitalistic society than to pay these people pennies for what none of us would work for? So the Republicans went on the other side because these migrants or immigrants, or what they would call refugees or asylum seekers, will have children. And once they have children, that's right, on American soil, they're American citizens. They are American citizens. So it's up to the Egyptian concept to hold you off long enough politically to be destroyed. That's what the woman was saying. She's up there saying, well, hold up. It's the ones we kicked out of the center already. They're the only ones causing trouble. Woman, you need to tell us how the recreation centers for our people became shelters for other people. That's what you need to say. Not talking about some bad apple conversation, moving the bar. How are the places that was once used for recreation for boys in particular have turned into shelters when our men cannot find jobs anywhere? It's over. More. I'm going to show you where I'm going with this. 1 second.
Residents say they want to see something happen and something change immediately. In Woodlawn, Dana Kozlov, CBS 2 News.
Adding more staff at the shelter and holding migrants accountable are two actions city leaders say they are taking to address ongoing concerns.
Adding more staff, money. Now there's something else, Elder Lawyer. They're also discussing, while everyone is talking about aliens in Congress, whether or not America is linking them with aliens. It's the illegal aliens that everyone are ignoring. Now, I don't have a dog in a fight. I'm using a political name that's what is. I'm just telling you what this means. They are stoking a race war. Not just between blacks and whites, but our people within the inner cities when it comes to the 10 tribes who has now been given refuge. And check this out. There's something else. Check this out. Fair use. Fair use. Fair use. Fair use. And we have a few scriptures to go over. Fair use. Chicago again.
That's crazy.
I want to say real fast to the black community of this town. In the words of Malcolm X, we've been hoodwinked, run amok, bamboozled. Mayor Johnson, I need you to listen. I need y'all to divide your attention so that you can hear what the soul of Chicago is like. Yeah.
Ooh, talk to him. Get him.
That probate division. It's not just the immigrants that's coming in and bogarting our communities. That probate division with the public administration office is illegally taking our properties.
Shit, I'm playing.
You heard that, Elder Lawyer? They're at City Hall. City Hall. amongst the committees, saying this is deeper than just immigration. They're taking our properties. They are taking our properties. If this doesn't sound like what happened in Egypt, we go to one place and we come back with an entirely different status, replaced under what? Under order out of chaos. Cause an issue, come with a solution, and at the end of the day, it's our people losing everything our forefathers worked for. Now, this works for the Democrats and the Republicans, Elder Lawyer. It works for both. Because the Republicans get free labor, get cheap labor out of this. And then if their immigrants don't want to work right, the threat of what? Extradition is on the table. So you get obedient servants for a long time to work for less. And at the same time, get rid of that enemy. Like it was read of in the Bible. Get rid of Judah. More? She's hollering up in there, you're sending our money to Ukraine. Right? Elder Lawyer. Were they not warned that this was going to happen before they voted?
Right.
Were they not warned?
Yes, sir.
You're sending my money. Now, this is all scripture. Even their reaction is in the Bible, folks. It seems as if we as a people don't react politically and otherwise until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late now. They're here. More. So screaming isn't going to do anything. Because who's she screaming to on the other side? A woman that's for the system. I don't care if she looks like you. She just have to help kick this can down the road a few more years. And they understand what they're doing. They're going to kick this can down long enough until there'll be silence in the room. Until they find a way to get rid of the person who's arguing. It's working already. Ever since Biden been in office, right? George Floyd, we down for the black man, no justice, no peace. And you had more white people and liberals and everybody else marching and stoking confusion than our people. I'm like, hold up, how can this be a black thing when you got gays standing up talking about George Floyd, Marxists standing up, you have white liberals standing up?
Right.
I'm like, when have any of these people ever cared for black men? But politically, it was to get the money to finance our destruction, using a dead man as a black dead man as the face of it, to get in political positions for what was about to come. Right after that, what happened? That's right, the election, everything Trump raises or whatever the case is, and then after that, the cold. And right after the cold, it seems like now, after so many people no longer are amongst us for whatever reason, the replacements were already waiting at the border to come in and to replace those who didn't make it. I need y'all to check this out, folks. Keep in mind, so many people died during the, right? You seen the numbers. They was talking about the cases and all that. Why haven't the population numbers in America changed much? Why it's still the same population? Food for thought.
Children coming up
told you they are not playing. They are there and they're speaking.
He said, I told you they are not playing. Guess what? Here's more. Fair use. Fair use. Fair use. Fair use. More.
Eat, drink.
Let's go to New York now. Fair use. Fair use.
Other top story this morning, Mayor Eric Adams says the city has run out of shelter space for migrants and the crisis will probably get worse.
The mayor stated that there is simply no more room to house asylum seekers indoors. Lizette Nunez has more from the...
Folks, this news just came out a few days ago. Remember, Adams, a black man voted in. The first thing he did was load buses of immigrants into New York and put them into luxury hotels, lavish hotels and all that off of your dollar. Now he's going to claim after doing so that it's a crisis. Order out of confusion. This is how Israelites stay at the bottom of the pyramid. The people are suffering in New York already. And what do? You open up the floodgate to those who are suffering from other countries to compound the oppression that's already in the ghettos. Knowing that eventually there will be gang wars, there will be many deaths, that now the government is going to have to come behind and say, you know what? We need to get the federal government involved. We have to get the federal government. We need to call up the Coast Guards. We need to get some order here. And at the end of the day, guess who will be getting stomped out through all this? Not the immigrants. They need the immigrants to work for cheap. So I'm going to tell you, folks, why do you think they started putting things in place, talking about xenophobia and all these other things that had nothing to do with, right, the racism that has always been done against us? They started coming in with all these other racist terms. So that now, when we retaliate after being stomped out, schools being taken, recreation places are being taken, and even our people getting killed over this with gang wars, when we retaliate, they're going to claim that we are executing hate crime against the immigrants. Here it comes. Remember, I told you that. I know their playbook, folks, because what? They do the same thing over and over again because it works.
Our other top story this morning, Mayor Eric Adams says the city has run out of shelter space for migrants and the crisis will probably get worse.
The mayor stated that there is simply no more room to house asylum seekers indoors. Lizette Nunez has more from the city's migrant intake center at the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown. Do you see any kind of movement going on there this morning, Lizette?
Fair use.
Good morning. Yeah, another night where migrants have been sleeping on the ground. Right now, they are awake and they are waiting to be processed inside the Roosevelt Hotel. But once again, there is no more room for migrants in New York City. So there's a chance that once they are processed at the Roosevelt Hotel, they could end up sleeping on the street once again.
Eventually, this was going to come to a neighborhood near you, and it is.
Mayor Adams making it clear that the migrant...
He said, Elder Lawyer, eventually this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. As if he didn't make the announcement before all of New York that this is what? A human rights crisis that we must get behind to support the immigrants coming into New York.
Right.
See that? And this is why I cover things while it's happening, so that y'all can see the straight hypocrisy and lies that come through these policies. What really are they planning here? Now they done swung to the other side. I told you it's coming to a city near you. Now it's time for us to do something about it. Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. It's right on your dollar bill.
Crisis has reached its breaking point in New York City. The Roosevelt Hotel has been serving as the city's migrant intake center and shelter for migrant families. But now there is no more room, and migrants can be seen wrapped around the block, sleeping on the street.
It's not going to get any better.
It's not going to get any better, Elder Lawyer. How do you help an already hurting population of homeless? How do you help your population of homeless? By bringing in the homeless from other places. And there's something to be said about some of, the mental health of some of these people, because what are they releasing an army of what? Demon possessed people to be utilized? That's a whole nother topic. He's saying what? It's not going to get any better.
It's not going to get any better.
Hey folks, black people voted him in. Black people was behind this guy. Believed in him. He used all the trick verbiage and talking points to have you believe that he was for you. Huh?
From this moment on, it's downhill.
Mohamed and Ahmed are from Senegal and Mauritania. They are among the migrants sleeping on the ground outside the Roosevelt Hotel.
Right now, we have not eating, no bathroom, no water.
Mayor Adams has repeatedly asked for help from the federal government during a recent trip to D.C.
There it is, Elder Lawyer. There it is. Hegelian dialectic. The problem, reaction, solution. Mayor Adams have already asked for help from where? The federal government. So the feds must come in. They must now vote on bills to help the chaos. I wondered if they know any of this was going to unfold like this. These people need help. It's an human rights crisis. But what are they not telling you, folks? The expendables. Those that must be sacrificed on the altar for this cause. The people who were here. The people who built the country are the expendables. Huh? More.
The Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, met with Mayor Adams and offered a point person from DHS to work between the
Department of Homeland Security
administrations. But Adams says much more is needed to get this crisis under control.
Having someone embedded is a good start. That came from the Secretary of Homeland Security. We want to thank him. But I've been very clear on what we need. We need to allow people to work. And there's nothing more.
Oh, you heard that, other lawyer? We need to allow people to work. Now, we already have a starving constituency within the inner cities who are suffering for jobs.
Right.
Not once did he say, let's get these people who built the country living in these cities jobs to bring down crime. You bring over the replacements and say, we need work for them. Not for the people who voted him in. Nothing no legislation whatsoever is getting shaped for the people who voted him in. He says these people on the streets, they need housing and they need jobs. And you know what? There's no one in the red states or the suburbs going to give them housing. So I wonder where they'll push these people. I wonder where these people will live, go to school. And how will they make room for these people? You think our people are going to readily just lay down? No. They know, Elder Lawyer, that our people are going to fight. They understand that this is survival, and they've placed the people in what? In a predicament without options. The only option the people have to survive, because our people can't go nowhere, we'll be forced to fight our people. And at that point, the cameras rolling will claim that there's what? There's criminality and crisis in these neighborhoods that only the UN military and other military can quell. Martial law.
American, then you can't work. We need to control the border.
One thing the mayor also touched on is that the migrant crisis is also impacting businesses. So just 2 doors down from the entrance of the Roosevelt Hotel, there is a coffee shop and then also a shoe shop. But there is very limited access to any of those businesses because, once again, migrants are camped out and they have been sleeping here the last couple of nights.
Don't worry about it. They'll lose business. Okay. They'll lose business. Eventually, the same business owners are not going to be able to make ends meet or pay their taxes. And I'm sure some people will come in and swoop up that property for pennies on the dollar. Don't worry about it. It's already planned. It's a win-win. Okay? Some of the money changers and operators for real estate in New York is waiting for those shops to close down, only to be able to do what? Regentrify and make those shops into what they're planning to do with them. That's a win-win too.
Latest here from Midtown, Rosanna and Dan will send things back inside.
So, Lizette, before you go, as you know, the mayor has gone to D.C. several times to talk to the president's administration about help. The president right now is taking a vacation. He's on the beach in Rehoboth. They said they were going to bring a monitor to New York to check things out. Do we have any idea when that might happen?
No, we have not heard that. We know that they have been in contact with
The president is at the beach, okay?
the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas. But once again, the mayor put out a statement when that meeting with Mayorkas happened, but they still did not have exact details on really what that plan would look like and how soon they would be able to see that monitor. But once again, we've also heard the mayor mention that they want more federal funding. That still has not come.
There it is, the bag. See, you got to know what to listen for. More federal funding. At the same time that they're telling our people who built the country that you aren't entitled to reparations. Okay? We have $1 billion for the Ukrainians who had nothing to do with the building of this country. We have billions of dollars for the immigrants and housing that used to be our institutions to house those who had nothing to do with building the country. And then we have billions of dollars, right, in federal funding to help these poor immigrants who are sleeping on the streets. Folks, it's a win-win for Democrats and Republicans. Because as far as I'm concerned, Democrats, when you do the history, were behind hanging us in the South. Democrats constructed the Confederate flag. They were the ones we were running from in sheets. Okay? So the liberals took off the sheets and became our friends. And through psychology, along with the ignorance of our people, have destroyed us inwardly. This is a win-win for both sides. The Democrats win because they've always destroyed us. And the Republicans win. Because why? That's right, folks. They believe in what? Smaller government, lower tax, and what? Capitalism. The Republicans benefit, as well as the Democrats too, by what? By setting up jobs with what? Low wages. For people who would work for low wages, $1.75 an hour is exponentially more than what they make in their countries. They'll be able to, if they want to, reset the minimum wage down the line with no pushback. Why? Because the other option is America threatening them by saying you can get with this low wage or go back to a country you've been starving under. That's right. A country we've turned third world. So the Democrats and Republicans benefit from this. And what's deep, folks, is the greatest voting bloc of the Democrats for decades have been our people. Federal funds, guess what? You get what you put your heart into. This is what happens when people vote with their feelings. Okay? More.
From the White House, Rosanna.
All right, thank you so much, Lizette.
Yeah. Now the funding is going to come in place, right? Fair use.
It is yet another day of long lines in Midtown today outside of the Roosevelt Hotel as asylum seekers wait for shelter someplace in the city.
Still no word.
They're waiting. Oh, the asylum seekers are waiting for shelter, Elder Lawyer, somewhere in the city. I wonder where they'll be sheltered. I'm just curious.
On how the city plans to respond to this sobering crisis. Fox 5's Christine Russo joins us live from outside the hotel.
Folks, are our people in the ghettos not in crisis right now? Are we more important in these ghettos? Are we more important after fighting in every war the United States have ever waged in this earth? Are we more important than migrants? Are we more important than Ukrainians? Are we more important than the letter people? Are we more important or less important? This is the motto, brothers and sisters. Israelites at the bottom of the pyramid. It's an Israelite motto. One moment. Heard a car going off out there. An Israelite motto here, right? Now, for those who missed it, Norvis Ordem Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, is one of the two Latin mottos on the reverse side of the Great Seal of the United States. The other motto is Annuit Coeptis. The mottos were coined by Charles Thompson, the Secretary of Congress of the Confederation. Thomas derived the phrase Novus Ordem Seclorum from a poem by the Roman poet Virgil. He wrote that the phrase signified the beginning of the new American era. That's right, Rome's deadly wound was healed. As on date of the Declaration of Independence 1776, which was depicted in Roman numerals at the base of the pyramid on the seal. Folks, since Egypt, we've been placed systematically at the bottom of the pyramid, being politically tricked over and over while they plan to destroy our men. The Egyptian model. The Egyptian model. That's right, folks. Black Nort Robas, I'm going to call it that, deletions of children. National statistics since 1973, and this is an old stat, more than 20 million black babies have been deleted since the 1973 Roe versus Wade U.S. Supreme Court decision legalized deletions in the country. The highest numbers fall on Hispanics, and or the greatest number are black babies. And think about this, elder lawyer. Let me tell you, what would Pharaoh, how much Pharaoh would have paid for a system like this? Let me tell you, folks, if they had this, I don't know if, guess what? They would have probably came closer to getting Moses. Right. This is the model. Not an old model. Not an old model. This is an Egyptian model they're using on us. Well, why our people keep falling for this trick over and over again? We don't want to embrace that we're the people of the Bible at the bottom of the pyramid. That they must keep us suppressed in order to do what? To sustain and grow their empire. They're the monster, and we're the food. At the bottom of the pyramid, so they must throw us crumbs, give us small promises to keep us at the bottom, and once we grow to some understanding, put a systematic political system in place. Incentivize the people who value money over nation as taskmasters to destroy any dissent that would come against what freedom looks like. I need y'all to check this out. They put it right in our face. The same people who built the constructs in Egypt is still at the bottom of the pyramid, and none of our people aren't taking heed to realize this is an Israelite problem. This is not a black problem. And until we understand this point in history, our people will continually do what? Fall victims to the same storyline, the same historical degradation aimed towards us politically by the powers that be. If brothers and sisters believe that you can solve this politically, our plight, our condition, you got another thing coming. God had to intervene in Egypt.
Right.
God had to intervene. If you believe that we can get ourselves in position politically to change things for our people, you don't realize that the political construct, the White House, the Capitol, all of that was set up to keep us Israelites at the bottom of the pyramid. There's no hope in this. Elder lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Isaiah 30 real quick. Isaiah 30, please. 1 second. And you got all these other guys out there talking this. Let me tell you. You know what? And guess what? I'm going to tell you this. I'm not anti-reparations. If I believe, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not anti-reparations at all. I'm for anything that brings forth equity and judgment for people who have built this country. If not, I'm going to tell you, if not for more than just the model it would actually represent to help our other brothers who have suffered by the imperialists all throughout the earth, the colonizers and destroyers. Just to do that as the model so that our other brothers could do what? Follow suit to a degree where they wouldn't have to flee for refuge, suffering to try to find a better life in another country. So it's not that I'm not for reparations, but I understand how it works. When I say that, I know that they will never do it. Because what it means politically for the construct. Why? Think about it, folks. It's not that I don't believe it should happen. It should happen. It will be justice. But then they could not control our place. They couldn't control our place in the construct if they were to give this to us. They need us on the bottom, confused. Through the confusion, they can utilize us and continue the status quo. They can use all of the gifts, the riches, the intelligence the Most High has given us, the gifts the Most High has given us for their construct to be utilized by the top of the pyramid, Satan's eye. So it's not that I don't think that our people deserve it. You darn well we deserve it. They should have it right now. But I know that if they were to give it, it would break the will. And Esau under Satan isn't about breaking the will. He would very, very well, believe it or not, folks, he would very well help burn the whole darn thing down than to give us any opportunity to overtake him. And what are you seeing on top of Chirac right now? We call Chicago Chirac for a reason. And now you're going to compound the issue by now bringing homeless and gang members and others into that, I would say, that explosive concoction. They would very well, brothers and sisters, burn the whole thing down than to do what's right by us. And I'm saying this for our brothers and sisters is because God told us a long time ago, it's in the Bible, stop trusting on Egypt. Because by doing so, guess what? You are in agreement with everything they've done and will continue to do against us. Because at the end of the day, those that are on the other side who are ignorant, who believe this system, which are the red states or the conservatives, at the end of the day, through their ignorance and their belief in the system, everything that's wrong in the world, they're going to blame on the people who put the evil in office.
Right.
Because they're looking at this thing logically and saying, who in their right mind would vote to have a man with a wig or whatever the case is have rights equally as a regular woman if he identifies as that? They're looking at it logically and saying, how can we trust these people to guide anything politically when this is what they're voting for? And I'm talking about family-oriented people. There's people who believe in God and all that and saying, how can I trust these people to make a sound political decision when the party they voted for is responsible solely for laws that have led to 20 million of their babies not ever at any point, not ever, 20 million children who didn't have the opportunity to breathe air, pushed on one side of the legislation, and our people voted on that side. So the others are looking. They're silent. They don't say anything amongst us. But amongst themselves, if they could allow a standing army of 20 million people that could have been boys to free them, and they're behind voting every voting cycle for their own demise, not loving their own children, what would they do to us if the opportunity afforded itself? This is what they say amongst themselves. They won't say it in front of you. They'll smile at the job and all this. They'll hear our nonsense reasons for voting based on whether or not a person is racist, which is one of the most idiotic reasons to actually take a stance against anything politically. Everyone else deal with politics based on the funding or finances they get for supporting something that can support their family, constituency, or nation. We're the only people who vote based on whether or not someone is racist. So I'm giving you the mindset of these other people. If they can do this to their own future, 20 million babies, what would they do to us if the opportunity afforded itself? If they can do this to their own children? And this is what the devil wanted. Order out of chaos. To use all of that at the very end, politically throughout the earth, that Jacob, our people, would be painted as what? The villain. After they've done all these things against us throughout history. They have shifted it that at the very end, it will be Jacob, the brother he hates, as the villain. Look what he did to his own children. Order out of chaos that keeps us perpetually at the bottom. And now they have done what? They've rallied the whole world internationally against us. And not that we don't have a part in it. Not that we don't have a part in it, because what? You have some of our people who are ignorant who are willing to give them the fuel by operating outside of righteousness. Elder Lawyer, Isaiah 30. Hold on, let's get it. Let me get it here.
Yes, sir.
Let me grab it. And some people may ask, is it too late? Yes, it's too late. It's too late. There's nothing we can do. If there was any opportunity politically to uphold our stronghold within America, that window closed in the last election. That window totally closed in the last election. I'm going to tell you that right now. It totally closed. And how do you know this? And I watched it. When Ice Cube came with a plan for Black America, not to say that he's some prophet or whatever the case is. Not to say that that was the all to end all according to legislation. It wasn't really about what his plan was. It showed the outright hypocrisy of the political system. It showed the outright hypocrisy. Trump racist. with Biden with an opportunity with Kamala Harris to show that they are what? Different. It showed the hypocrisy of the whole system. That was their opportunity to show that they weren't Donald Trump. A plan for Black America. We're going to sit down with a plan for Black America. And before we shape legislation for anybody, we're going to go on record that we're going to execute, if not all, some parts of this plan to show that we respect the constituency who have always kept us in office. And you know what they did? They treated him like a boy. And then they got our own women, not their women, our own women to publicly oppose it. At that point, I said, you know what? This is exactly what was needed. And if our people can't see that there's no strength for us, no place for us in this political system after this, and that these people care for everyone else outside of us, guess what? Then you get the pill, you swallow the pill you've agreed to take. You can scream at City Hall, town meetings, whatever the case is. Understand the writing was on the wall, and guess what? You took the bait. Let's read Isaiah 30 and let's read 1. Let's read it. Come on.
Yes, sir. Isaiah 30, verse number 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
And you notice it says rebellious. We know the right thing to do, but always choose to do what? Rebel. We know the right thing, but always choose what? To fight. And then when it comes to fighting, we don't fight who we should fight. We don't fight the real fight. We fight amongst each other. Adding sin to sin, read.
That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
To do what? To do what?
That walk down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
To strengthen themselves in what?
In the strength of Pharaoh.
In the strength of Pharaoh. Trusting in the political system as if Pharaoh is for your turn.
Right.
That's the sin the Most High is talking about. We're rebelling. When Pharaoh wanted us in what? Perpetual captivity, in chains. But we think this political system is different. When outright they're showing you how similar they are to the ancient political constructs by actually brazenly placing a pyramid on the dollar saying, you know what? We're going to do to God's people what the Egyptians did to God's people politically.
Right.
Read on, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Look at that. Order out of chaos is what they do. And the Most High says, since you trust in the all-seeing eye, the order out of chaos. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh, the president you trust in, be your own shame. You're going to have to tell everybody out there that you politically was behind a guy who can't even walk up a flight of steps. That's going to be your shame. You're going to have to tell everyone that don't try to switch sides now. The same guy you believed in going to be your shame. Everything you thought he would be for, when it comes to you as a constituency, he would do the reverse. We're voting believing that he's going to help us. And every legislation they've shaped was to hurt us. Everything they've done since that office was to hurt us. And trust in the shadow of Egypt, read.
Yes, sir.
Therefore
shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Your confusion. Let's go down to the 9th verse, Elder Lawyer. The 8th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 8. Now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for time to come, forever and ever.
And it's in the book now. And I see so many people out there, folks, with political talking points that sounds intelligent, sound proactive, sound solution oriented. And these people are lost in the sauce, all in the dark, because they don't even have this component added towards their political prowess.
Right.
They're no different than the politicians. They're just talking about what the politicians aren't going to do and all that. And what they're going to do if the politicians don't do anything, when the politicians already made an answer for our people not participating. Look in the inner cities. They've already replaced our people. And you got other people saying, well, guess what? I'll tell you what. If they don't do something for us, we're not going to vote. They knew you were going to do that. You were threatening that before you voted Biden in, and voted him in anyway. You think they're going to chance you actually being able to execute that after warning them? You was threatening you're not going to deal with the polls. But you went to the polls when you should have acted instead of threatening. So now, those that are talking, the Umar Johnson guy who still, there's no school nowhere, but he's a meme at this point. And the only thing he do is use the political talking points to say run some money, and he never built anything. Okay? Now there's some others out there that are to be respected with their political prowess, that I don't believe in a lot of their religious views, but a lot of their political views are on point. That I've listened to and said, you know what? A lot of what they say falls in line with how our people in ancient times politically dealt with the establishment, with the interests of our people first. People like Professor Black Truth. Even to some degree, I don't believe in Tariq Nasheed's religious ideology, but politically, every time he speaks is for the embetterment politically of our people. I can grab to that and say, you know what? That falls in line with how you should be. At least from a political standpoint. Right? But these others out there, I'm going to tell you, hey, you have to watch out when they're just there making political points to no solution. But at the end of the day, I'll say this. The Bible gives the answer. It says, now go write it before thee in a table. We're reading it right now. That table is the Bible. Right? Now, someone says Tariq is hustling. I don't I'm not into him like that as far as find out what he's doing with his money and all those other things. All right. As far as I'm concerned, a just weight for a just measure. As long as you produce what you said you're going to produce, then that's okay if the people is going to purchase it. I can't say he's not stealing from no one. I can tell you that. I don't agree with everything with anyone. I agree with God. But I'm not going to throw any negative aspersions his way when one thing I do know about him, anything he said he was going to offer, he produced. Okay, so I can say that about him. Now, if he said he was going to do something and didn't do it, then like the other guy running around talking about a school for boys since 2009, then I would agree with that. But the Bible says a just weight for a just measure. If someone is working and producing and is giving the people what they're actually paying for, you can't claim that that's stealing or anything wrong with that. It's called just weight for just measure. Okay? The Bible says, Isaiah 38, let's read it.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse number 8.
Read on.
Now go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
That's the point. People that will not hear the law of the Lord. Every time, folks, we trust in the political systems, they promise us something, and then after that, they change the game. Every time. Oh yeah, Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Don't you know there was already planning to reconstruct, brothers and sisters, the model of slavery, knowing that they could not sustain that model. We were overpopulating. We were growing beyond their control, just like in Egypt. So at that time, they were seeking to do what? To change the model anyway. Okay? They just had to shape it in a way that makes you believe that it was somebody, one of them, a knight in shining armor on a white horse coming to save the old lowly black slaves. Folks, that model was done by the time they drafted the Emancipation Proclamation. Folks, if anything, guess what? Let me tell you, the South was kicking their behind. It was us that joined the North so that the war could the war could be won. So they didn't free anything. We fought for our freedom. We fought. Our forefathers, that's right, shed blood for our freedom. We would have been free whether they drafted the Emancipation Proclamation or not. And Esau wasn't going to allow it to be that way, so he had to draft it with this knight in shining armor, his historical thumbnail in history. We fought for our freedom. We would have been free whether they drafted that piece of paper, that crap, or not. We fought for our freedom.
Right.
But you will never hear that in history books. Okay?
Right. If I could mention this real quickly, not to cut you off. They make it seem as if we were sitting passively on the side, watching two factions of white people fighting, one on the north, one on the south, and just waiting to see what the outcome was going to be. No. And that's just not the case at all.
No. We fought. And guess what? The political construct already had a new model in place, understanding that we were multiplying beyond control in the South.
Right.
So that's why it came into what? After slavery, Reconstruction, and they had to go into the industrial age. because we were multiplying. So they had to change the model of slavery anyway. And on top of that, there was what? There was a condition already in the Constitution that's right, you're free, but if you are criminalized under a felony, you fall back under slave labor. So they just replaced the slave system with prison. They just changed the model, folks. So going back to politically here, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Read.
Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
We don't want to hear about that Bible thing. We don't want to hear about this God who freed our people. Lie to us. Tell us what we want to hear. Lie to us. See? Lie to us. And that's why you have these pimp preachers out there. Guys running around, again, talking about he going to build something. Ain't build nothing, but continue to blow smoke up people's behind. Pandering, telling women all the wrong things against their embetterment. Knowing that there's a large number of our people who will get angry if you're honest with them. You can't even be honest to our people or say what you really think without someone getting offended or becoming an enemy for telling them the truth. This is why that's why no one liked the prophets. They hated Christ because of this. Everyone is used to being lied to. They hated Christ because Christ was truth. See, and why people hate truth so, Elder Lawyer? You know why? Because truth means that what? Truth means, which is absolute. Truth means if you're shining a light on what I am and it's the truth, and I accept that, knowing it's right, then guess what? I have to change. See, if I live in my delusion and have others confirm my delusion, then I'm fine the way God made me. See, I can justify my current state at the bottom without ambition, without the propensity to achieve, because I can make up this whole thing about myself. The delusion, and I'm willing to pay somebody to keep me in delusional land. And that's what the Bible is talking about. You tell the truth, people start saying you a hater, you this, that, and the other. You used to be this way, I don't know. No. Which say to the seers, see not. Don't tell us the truth. Read.
And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things.
Don't tell us what's right. Don't tell us about this God. Read.
Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy deceit. Read.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
Stop speaking about this Bible, this Israelite, this Christ, this God thing. Get out of here. Get out of the way. This is what our people are saying. Tell us lies. Tell us lies. And this is why I tell you, this is why our people are predominantly liberal. Liberal in their minds. Because you will have these quote unquote satanic Democrats who are behind hanging us in the South. Yes, right. Initially, look back at it. It wasn't the Republicans hanging us. And they have found the secret sauce for our people. Lie to them. They have studied us in this Bible and they said, you know what? These people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear lies. So you know what we'll do? We'll lie to them. And they'll vote for us over and over again while we kill, not while we kill, while we shape legislation that will eventually eradicate them. See, they read our Bible. They know our psychological makeup, that we would rather hear lies than God himself. Read.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness.
And what?
Because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness.
And what?
And perverseness.
And perverseness. I wonder why they was pushing this bi thing, this trans thing, and all these other sexuality things, and tying these activities to us. Who walk around in a society where you say, I got bi friends, I got gay friends, I got bi this, and who does this? Who runs around with a guy plaiting hair and you sit next to a full guy, in woman's regalia at a salon, conversating as if that's a sister? Brothers walking around, then you walking around operating with other men, looking at other men saying, yeah, check out his shoulders. I'm like, what? A grown man over 6 feet, guns like The Rock, talking about with a wig on, talking about go on, girl. Folks, we have to stop blaming everything on the Gentiles. The Bible says that we trust in oppression and perverseness. We grew up with these little stories, these stories about the creepy little uncle that no one ever does anything about. And you can't blame the white man on that. You can't blame the white man. You get in a relationship with somebody, a man getting in a relationship with a woman, and he having eyes for the woman's daughter, and then there's news all over the place, then something happens. This stuff happens in our community continually with no one doing anything about it. And the politicians, especially the liberals, are saying, hey, we like this. Because with this activity unchecked or incentivized, we can progress Satan's agenda.
Right.
And trust in oppression and perverseness. Read.
And stay thereon.
And stay thereon.
Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
That breaking will come at an instant. What breaking will come at an instant? Elder Lawyer, I got to play it again. Your breaking will come at an instant. Fair use.
Frustration, anger, and confrontations all on display as neighbors in Woodlawn gather to talk about what they call big problems at a nearby migrant shelter. New at 10, CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov takes us through what happened.
Let them talk so they have a voice.
A call for order during a heated meeting at Woodlawn's Apostolic Church of God.
Who's helping me?
The focus, this migrant shelter in the old Wadsworth Elementary School.
I would ask you all to go out there at night, in the middle of the night, and see what goes on.
What's going on, according to community members, is loitering, late-night partying, littering, prostitution, and at least one fight between migrants and residents.
It got a little heated. Objects got thrown.
But many of these residents say they no longer have any tolerance for the
Fair
disruptive
use.
behavior by those seeking asylum here. It's making them feel unsafe.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Let me say this. They got one more time to deal with it, because otherwise, next time they deal with it, they're going to deal with it from the streets. We're going to take over it. Nobody's going to be able to stop us from what we're going to do to them.
Much of the residents' anger was directed at city officials in attendance, including 20th Ward Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, Chicago Deputy Police Chief Stephen Chung, and Family and Support Services Commissioner Brandy Kanazi. At one point, police had to intervene, breaking up an argument during public comments.
And that absolutely is a problem.
And Alderwoman Taylor says she's now seen some of them firsthand.
The people who are keeping up the trouble are the people who are kicked out of the damn shelter.
All of the city officials here at this meeting promise that they are working for solutions to make the area around the shelter better for the neighborhood and consequences for those asylum seekers who are found to be breaking the rules or the law. But residents say they want to see something happen and something change immediately. In Woodlawn, Dana Kozlov, CBS 2 News.
Adding more staff at the shelter and holding migrants accountable are two actions city leaders say they are taking to address ongoing concerns.
Elder, read that last piece again.
Yes, sir. Verse number 13. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breach cometh sudden, or whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
At an instant, read.
And he shall break it as the breaking of a potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sure to take fire from the hearth, or to take water with awe out of the pit.
Read.
Verse 15. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not.
Listen, Christ, the Most High even came with the solution here. That Israel, we've tried it our way. We've tried it the political way, and we're still living, getting crushed at the bottom of the pyramid. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest, in returning, if you return and rest, shall ye be saved. He said, aren't you tired of being oppressed? You're doing it the political way under Pharaoh, and they're killing you. They're replacing you. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. You still refuse to come back to the God who said all of this was going to happen. And now you're frustrated, hollering and screaming at city council. This ain't right. Folks, all is fair when it comes to Gentiles in love and war. They're looking at you like this ain't right. You can't see what this is. You can't see what this is. This is a takeover. We've destroyed your families, have separated the man from the woman, have given the woman what? More access so that the man can stay at the bottom, have dealt with the eugenics program that have targeted children from the womb, and now there is no male presence or representation or a standing army to protect the community from what we have allowed over the borders. And I have other videos. I can't even play it right now because I'll wait till Friday to play these. But I'll tell you this right now. They're not just letting anyone over the borders, folks. If you want to talk about people coming up missing and all these other things that only Colombia and Mexico and other countries had to worry about, it's coming at a neighborhood near you. These people who are coming over, not all, but a lot of them, are coming over with what? That's right. A serious resentment and hatred against our people. And that's what Biden and Kamala and others aren't going to tell you. Now, again, this works right for the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay? Their plan is working flawlessly. Okay? All right? What we see in the plan, in the cities, the major cities, was the plans of the Democrats the whole time. How do you know? Because those particular cities have always for decades been under Democrat control. There was no Republicans mayors over these big cities to stop certain legislation from getting passed. So this has always been the Democrats' plan, to destroy us. But the Republicans benefit too. See? They can now have the moral high ground to say, we told you so. Look at what these people have aligned themselves with. And because of that, we're going to hire their replacements for pennies on a dollar. And then we're going to put the Asians in the replace. Asians and quote unquote what they call Hispanics, but we know they're from the 10 tribes. We're going to put the Asians, that's right, and the Hispanics in the political positions the black woman is in. And we're going to move her out of the way too. That's how it's going to go down. That's how it's going to go down. They had to get the black man out of the position first. Politically. It's an old Egyptian model. Get them up out of the land. That's right. Get the black man out first. Right? You put the weaker vessel in position and have her, that's right, go full corporate for what? Pharaoh. And then at that point, once she get everyone to vote, everyone in position, all of the money now will go towards getting her out the paint. And now we'll realize what the Most High said it was from the beginning. It's not man against woman, woman against man. We're in this together. We're in this together. Welcome to the war. Are we going to die together, or are we going to finally get on the same page as a people? This is what's about to go down. And at the end of it, the only refuge will be Christ, will be God. That will be our only refuge. Hence the reason why the Most High, throughout any time in history, prophetically, sent servants, teachers. What do you think we're reading right here? These were the words the Most High sent Isaiah to tell our people who didn't listen back then. So it's the same cycle now. But the difference is we're at the end of it all. Either we trust in the Most High or the political system. You can't have both. And you get what you vote for. We vote for Yeshua. Elder Lawyer, 1 second. I'm going to let you get the last word in a couple of seconds. And then we'll open up the calls. We have an early broadcast tonight. We welcome you all. This is the Gathering of Christ Church. And what is the broadcast? What we like to talk about? It's Israelites at the bottom of the pyramid. Hold tight. I'll be right back. I'll be right back with the conclusion for this. Hold tight.
Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book. And the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
Okay. Here we go. Yes. All right. Elder Lawyer, you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If anything you have to say, I'm about to open up the lines. We have an early night tonight. And yeah, we got about 30 minutes on the calls, but I'll let you get the last word. What you have to say, if anything, it's all yours.
Yes, sir, absolutely. In tandem to what you were saying as far as basically there's nothing new under the sun. The same exact methods that the enemy has used in times past to do the 1-2 switcheroo and convince our people to go right only to switch left and have all types of agendas against us as we're going right or whatever the case may be. This same process has been used over and over, and they have not changed the process whatsoever.
Your mic keep going down.
Okay, how about this?
That's excellent. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so they've been using the same exact processes over and over in cycles. Just as the Bible says, to prove what the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. And I say that to say that I personally believe that there is no coincidence that the promotion of our people in the media, through music, through film, through the news, for the past maybe 7 to 10 years has not been any coincidence whatsoever. What I mean is this. If you remember, in fact, I want to send you this very quickly.
Okay.
This article, just to read a very quick paragraph from this article to compare to what we're seeing now.
Okay.
How our people are being promoted. Let me see if I can.
Send it real quick through Skype.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to find you here. Close that. All right, there we go.
You Skyped it?
Yes, sir. I sent it over.
Okay. Thank you. One moment. Copy. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let me pull these things out of the way here so they can see it here. All right. Let's see. Get the fair use out of the way. All right. So what are we looking at here?
Right. So this is in reference to something that we've all heard about before, about the music industry to prison pipeline. It actually addresses it in this article. Again, we're not going to read the whole thing, just the opening paragraph to give you some insight. And then we're going to parallel it to what we're seeing today, because it's the same exact thing going back to Egypt, but then also the same cycle is going on today and how we've been promoted through music, but also through the news and also movies, film, or whatever the case may be. So it says here that the title of this article, The Conspiracy Against Hip Hop. So it says here in 2012, an unsigned letter began circulating on popular hip hop blogs, describing a meeting that allegedly happened 20 years earlier between private prison and music industry executives. According to this letter, record execs were asked to begin marketing and promoting hip hop that glorified criminal behavior in exchange for stock in prison and the prison business. What does this conspiracy suggest about the relationship between hip hop and America's prison system over the last 40 years? So in other words, there was an alleged meeting. Whether this meeting took place is still an argument, still up for discussion. Still an argument up in the air. Is this just conspiracy theory or if this actually took place? But just looking back and what we've seen, the progression of what took place with hip hop from the 90s going on into the 2000s, much of what's been said in the letter pretty much bore out. We pretty much saw it come into fruition as far as the over-promotion of a certain type of music, promoting criminal behavior, promoting
your
violence.
mic going out again. Bring your mic close if you don't mind. I'm sorry, lawyer.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's good. Just the last piece. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So we have kind of seen the fruition. Basically, the idea that was put forward with this art or this letter that was put out there was that it was this conversation that took place between those who had investments in private prisons and record executives, telling record executives to promote a specific type of music or only to sign a specific type of artist to promote a specific type of music that promoted over-sexuality, ultra-violent behavior, drug use, drug dealing, any type of degenerate behavior you can think of. They stated that it was promoted or was to be promoted through music to get the imagery out there for our people to now digest it and start to emulate what they were seeing and hearing in the music. So if the music said to be ultra-violent, because being ultra-violent, that's what makes you popular, that's what makes you a man, being a thug is the thing, being a drug dealer is the thing, our people would emulate that, but in the process, unlike the music video, which is just a video, or the movie, which is just a movie, or the song, which is just a song, the person who actually emulated this activity had to deal with real consequences, which is prison. So now, paralleling that to today, for the past decade, we've seen this over-promotion of ultra-sexualization of our people, ultra-violence amongst our people, drug use amongst our people, so on and so forth. And it's been coming through the music. It's a certain type of music that's been promoted for the past decade, drill music, so on and so forth, amongst the young men, amongst the young women. You got music promoting over-sexualization of the woman, so on and so forth. And for the people from the outside looking in, they're looking at our people and saying that these people are degenerate. This is a degenerate people. They're looking at the news, and every time you turn on the news, I turn on the news from time to time in the morning just to see what's going on in the city. And all you hear about is violence in the city of Philadelphia, murder in the city of Philadelphia, violence in the city of New York, violence in the city of Chicago. And again, from the outside looking in, the people are looking and saying that this is a degenerate, bestial people. Something needs to be done about what's going on within these cities, within the inner cities. These people need to be essentially removed because they are a part of the problem. They are destroying their communities. They're committing crimes. They're selling drugs. They're using drugs. They're harming each other. They're harming their women, so on and so forth. And you see this imagery pumped in a cycle through the news, through the movies, through the music. And now people are saying within themselves, or people are saying in these conversations, politically and otherwise, that these people something needs to be done about what's going on in these cities. And ultimately, I believe personally, already had this in tow before these conversations even came up. Before these people were pumped into the city, before these people were immigrated into the city, I believe going back a decade ago, they started promoting a certain, a certain type of music, a certain type of imagery amongst our people. They already had this plan in tow, knowing that eventually the outcry would be so great within these cities that people would be asking for a solution to the problem within the city. And the solution would be simply to replace the people in the city, because they are the people responsible for destroying the city. They're the ones responsible for the murders in the city. They're responsible for all that's going wrong within the city.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the solution is to replace them. No different than what they did back in the day with promoting the drug use and drug dealing in the music. Now we got to come up with a solution, because now we're seeing this play out in our communities. What's the solution? Put them in prison. Now the solution is they must be replaced. So the answer to the question is, how long will you simple ones love simplicity? How long are we going to fall for the same exact thing over and over again? And it's bearing out, and I feel sorry for our people, but as we mentioned, we fought to get every single thing that we're seeing right now. We were the people saying anything but Trump. Not that we believe in Trump, not that we cape for Trump, but when you put those words out there and say anything but this, and now you're seeing the result of that, you can't help but think that this is what our people, this is what we fought for the past few years. This is what we were in the streets for. This is what we're marching for. This is what we're rioting for. This is what we're trying to get Trump out of office for, to replace him for what we're seeing now. So, again, how long will we love simplicity? How long will we trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon? And the reality is that there is no political solution for this. There's no way out of this politically. We have to turn back to the Most High. And with that,
Well, thank you, Elder Lawyer. And while you were speaking that, I actually pulled up a video to show that what appear to be our people in mass looting the Gocc shop in Los Angeles. Young men and women in a mall. And I know how this is going to go, because usually, just say, Elder Lawyer, if we as a people decided today, let's all come together, let's be on code with one another and stop this. Let's shut down the industry music of debauchery, of debaucherous behavior. Let's now bring back that old time love that we once had for one another, and above all, that respect and fear we had for God. You know what, Elder Lawyer, is deep. It's so far gone that it still wouldn't work. Why? And this is why. It's so far gone that it still wouldn't work. When they bring in replacements, when people make a political decision, they don't go back on their political decisions. So what they'll do is, even if we all got it together, they would put provocateurs who look like us, who are immigrants and migrants. And they would stage scenarios where they would be the looters and all that, so that the blowback would still come on our communities. So if we stop doing crime, it wouldn't matter, because they'll have provocateurs who would work to actually circumvent and undermine us for money.
Right.
Look at what was happening during the Black Lives Matters marches. It wasn't our people in tow burning stuff down. They had provocateurs at the end of the line stoking fires and all that, being blamed on innocent protesters. So don't forget, this is not a protesting thing that can go away. These are people who are here to stay now. So at any time, if our people try to do what's right, they would use these same people against our people politically to paint us in a negative light. So the only thing to do now, like you said, it's time to come under the hedge and just watch it go down. Be on the right side of this, be guided through these scriptures, get our houses in order, and get ready for the Babylonian bounce if need be. 515-605-9327. Let's call in. let's call in. Okay, we only have 24 minutes for calls. So if you're going to get in now, 24 minutes, and that will conclude the broadcast. We started early today.
Yeah, I kind of like this early broadcast.
Oh, yeah. I think we were doing this once before. We would start at 5, and then we moved it back and back. But we're going to have to go back to our early broadcast. You're right.
Sir.
Let's do it.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Unmuted.
Elder Ricard here. They're doing the same thing, order out of chaos, and our people are in trouble. Our people are in trouble, okay? I think that's Elder Gocc just chimed in there.
Sir.
Is that Gocc?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Put headphones on. You know I tried to call you earlier.
I just saw the missed calls, man. I'm sorry I missed your call. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm in the midst of the broadcast.
I'm here. I'm listening in.
All right. Good. And Elder Lawyer, you heard what the brother said? The brother said outright that...
One second. I'll let you come in and out on my end. 1 sec.
Yeah, put headphones on.
Hello?
Yeah, put headphones on, Gocc. Yeah. Elder Lawyer, you heard the guy said at the city council meeting that if the politicians don't do something about the neighborhood, then the brothers are going to get together and use street justice against the immigrants. You heard that?
Yes,
so,
sir.
hey,
I did.
This thing is about to rock. I'm telling you. And they knew that would be what? The response. You can't push people out of their cities, out of their own homes, without knowing the outcome. It's eventually our people are going to fight, and many are going to die through this. I'm going to tell you, they have concocted a war within the communities through immigration. Cora has a comment and or question. Yes, Cora.
Well, my comment is what Elder Lawyer mentioned, is talking about, about the music situation. I read that.
Okay, Cora, I'm going to put you on hold. Please get to a room where there's quiet so that we can have a smooth conversation. Okay, we only have limited calls, so go on hold. God, you heard the broadcast tonight, or you just came through? Can't hear you.
I was listening before, yes. I was listening to the broadcast.
Okay, well, if you want to chime in a couple of seconds, just let me get these phone calls out of the way. It's good to see you, young man. Good to see you. All right. We have Cora. I'm going to get back with you, Cora. Mark has a comment. Yes.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
Yes, Elder. I spoke with you last week during last Wednesday's broadcast, and again, I want to thank you guys for doing such a great job and learning so much up under you all. But one of the comments I want to make, as you were reading in Isaiah 30 and talking about not trusting the political system, a lot of us have been fooled by that, especially those of us that are Judah. We've really been fooled by it. I recently told some people that, like tomorrow here in Nashville, Tennessee, we have an election for the mayor's race. And I told them I wasn't voting. And when I said that, the ones I told it to, they went into a complete uproar. I mean, just instantaneously. And I asked them, I said, what's the problem? And they said, well, nothing's going to change. You need to let your voice be heard. And I replied to them, I said, let me ask you something. I said, all of us that have voted for many years, I said, has anything else ever changed? I said, still the same. Matter of fact, the same people you voted in got rid of your affirmative action that you claimed when you held so closely. And I said, on top of that, your voice being heard, I said, when have they ever put your voice first? They never have.
And what was
I want to tell you,
and what was the response? How did they respond to that?
Oh, they just went even nuttier than before. They just kept on. Well, you know, we have died and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. And I told them, I said, listen, I said, I hate that our ancestors, died in vain for that. I said, I hate it. I said, I don't feel good about it. But I told him, I said, what has it done? I said, none of this is, and I said, none of this has ever changed. And I said, the church I'm learning up under right now, and I said, you guys can go look them up. And I told them where to go look you all up. I said, I've learned from them, and even I understand better that until we return to Christ, none of this is going to change.
You're right.
I told them that. And when I said that, I said, now who's going to go against Christ? When I said that, they totally got silent. But at the same time, they were still mumbling up under their voice.
Hey, brother, well, great talking points. If my mixer was working right now, and I would put an applause out there. But here's another talking point. That politically, as a Democrat, what are we aligning ourselves to? If you claim to believe in Christ and God, how can you in good earnest vote for a party that promotes immorality against the same God you claim to serve? So in order for me to vote, as a black man, I have to tie myself to the deletion of children. I have to tie myself to intersexual behavior. The right doesn't have to deal with that. They're coming off as the what? With the moral high ground, when once our people were the moral standard. So you mean to tell me I should be for a party that they have aligned me with getting rid of babies as well as intersexual and immoral behavior? You're telling me to vote for that? Go ahead.
That's what people are believing, Elder, because they believe that these people are going to give us something. And they've never given us anything but a hard way to go, as my grandmother used to say. And so therefore, I can't get with it. I can't.
Great point.
And I'm not voting tomorrow.
Great point, brother. Here's another point. Why should they give our people anything? When we've given them, listen. When we've given them everything, our vote for free. Why should they give us anything? It's the whole thing is this. It's like this, my brother. Right? If there's an instance where you had a product that you gave to someone else for nothing, but then I come down the line and you say, well, listen, this costs $50. And I'm going to be like, hold up. How can you charge me $50 for what you gave to that brother yesterday for free? Right. So the whole deal is, at the bottom line of this, listen, the politicians are looking at our people like they're crazy. Why? You've always given them political status for nothing. You voted Obama into office. He was a small millionaire. He was upward into the stratosphere after election. He became a multi-millionaire after the presidency. You made him a multi-millionaire and got nothing in return.
Right.
Listen, politics is what? Politics is a transaction. You do nothing without what? You do nothing without a return. I can understand why gay people are out there voting. I can understand why Asians are voting. I can understand why everyone else, because they get something immediately for their act in the political process. It's our people. It's our people, folks, who are out there voting in a system that have all not just haven't done anything for them, that have already that has always destroyed them and conspired against them.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And Elder, last week, one last thing, or two last things, real quick.
No, one last thing. One last thing, because I only got a few minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Last week when I called, I think I hung up too early before you all could get my information about wanting to be a candidate for baptism.
Okay. Let me get it now. Hold on. I have it here. I have it here. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mark. We're going to call you tomorrow, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Shalom.
Shalom. Bless you. All right. 13 minutes before all the calls, before the calls drop, okay? But you can get in queue. If you're in queue, I'll take your calls, but the calls get cut off in 13 minutes, okay? 515-605-9327. Chris has a comment.
Elder, can I say something real quick?
Oh, Chris, before you come on, Chris, hold tight. Go ahead, Elder Gaja.
Yeah, man. I was listening earlier, Elder, when you were talking about slavery and all that, right? And I just wanted to add something here for everybody just tuning in, or if you know this already. Slavery was a legal process. It was legal. There's no way they're gonna pay the slaves any compensation. Why? Because that's an admission of guilt. It's not happening. And Elder, I don't know if you notice right now where all of this shift going on right now, where you see Russia is kind of aligning themselves with Africa, and people out there thinking that this is a miracle now and there's change going on, not understanding that listen, Edom is in control. So if one faction of Edom is coming off of power, another faction of Edom is still there in power.
Yeah.
The 10 horns are gonna burn the whore, hate her and burn her with fire. So all of these Israelites within the continent right now looking at Russia, and it's a different system, have to realize that listen, it's one thing. Edom, the only person taking power from Edom is Christ. No amount of voting, no amount of reparations, no amount of black solidarity. The only person taking power from Edom is Christ. Just get that. Let me leave that right there.
You're right. I wish I had my applause, but brother, that's right on. God, I really appreciate it. All right. And that's another thing. On another level, America, Russia is no different than Democrat and Republican. They both are a part of the same red monster. All right, Chris, you have a comment?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Elder? Shalom.
Shalom. How are you, sir? The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Well, Elder, basically you talking about our people being at the bottom. Our people are at the bottom, and it's so sad that we keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe. They voted in Obama, and then when you talk to our people and ask, okay, what do you do? They say health care, and then when you look up health care, they had health care since the 70s. You know what I mean? So, and then Trump get voted in, and at the time America needed a business mindset, they get rid of him, and then bring in Carmella and Biden. And then, Elder, it's crazy that Carmella, our people stand with her, and she locks up an innocent black man. And then, Elder, I want to read one scripture. This is Revelation 11:18, and it says, "And the nations were angry, and their wrath is come, and the time of the dead, and that they should be judged. And thou shalt give reward unto the servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear the name, small and great, and showest destroy them which destroyed the earth." And this is what we heading down to, Elder. Elder Lawyer brought this out a little while ago when he read the scripture, maybe like months ago. And this is what we boil it down to. And these times are coming up, and I just thank the Most High for you watchmen, and we're going to keep on listening to these lessons and keep on joining into these broadcasts. And we thank you, elders. We thank you so much for y'all work.
Well, thank you, brother. Great scripture, and hope to see you soon. Stay strong in the spirit. Keep that fire burning, my brother. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Strong warriors for the Most High. Melissa has a comment.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, Melissa. The floor is yours.
Thanks for taking my call. This is my first time calling in, so I'm a little nervous. But I wanted to ask, did you saw like the new 25 cents with Anime Wong, a Chinese woman, on the new 25 cents?
No. You mean the new
Yeah,
quarter?
I saw it today.
You
I
mean
have-
the new quarter in America, the 25 cents coin has an Asian woman on it now?
Yes, her name is Anime Wong, and I have one right now. I was really shocked, knowing that we did so much for this country just for them to, I felt like a slap in the face when I saw it. So that's all I wanted to say. Like,
Okay, let me look at it. Let me
now.
look at it. Okay, the new U.S. quarter. Boy, let me tell you. Welcome. Let me see. Asian. Actress Anna Mae Wong. And this is U.S. Mint tender money?
Yes, it's in circulation. My sister worked at the store, and this is what they're giving out as change.
Welcome to China? You can't make this up.
For all the people who died for this country, and it's just a slap in the face just to have, I have nothing against Asians, but just to have somebody that, yep, that's her.
This is amazing. Hey, it's Bible prophecy. Thank you for giving me that, sister. I didn't know that. I'm going to look more into this, and I may bring this in one of my stories this coming Sunday. Deep. I appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up.
Thank you.
All right, bless you. That's a straight slap in our face. Kay has a comment.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, over the pond. How you doing?
Not too well. Actually, I'm losing my voice. I had a crisis on the Sabbath, but I'm getting better.
Good.
Thank the Most High.
I pray for your full recovery. Talk to me.
Thank you so much. It'll be very much appreciated. Anybody that prays for me, thank you. So my comment is, it's a couple of things. Firstly, my parents were married before they had any children, and I decided to follow their example. I refused to have any children out of wedlock at all. So, as you were saying earlier, there is a shortage of good men. That's what the sisters keep saying. Well, if they hadn't aborted them before they had a chance to come into fruition, then there would be a load of good men in society. There's none now because the sisters have aborted them all. And so it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. They're crying for these good men. Where are they? Where are they? Well, you've killed them all, to be honest.
Well, that's that's a theory, but we're going to talk about this. We were going to do it week 7, but we moved it to week 8. The divide between man and woman. We're going to do it week 8 in the academy, but it's more to it than that, and it's a lot to do with our programming, like Elder Lawyer was talking about with the media and others, where we have to define what women in particular are calling a short of good men. What's bearing out is that what's going on with the advent of media, social media in particular, that you have 80% of the women who are seeking to be with the top 20% of men. So it's not they can't find a good man. They're not willing to do what this new word that was created, settle for men that are on their level. Because you would have a top 10 or 20% man who drop in your DMs in the world, or may holler or say or like your pictures. A lot of women are believing that they can have access or one day be with that man. When a top 10 or 20% will just be with all of these women and not choose any of them. So it's not that there's a shortage of good men. What a good man is have been redefined through the advent of social media. They have to have a certain height. They have to make a certain amount of money. They have to have all these different criteria that once wasn't in place years ago. And above all, a man being a godly man and a humble man and an unworldly man isn't on the list. So I believe that there's not a short of good men. It's just that, it's been redefined in our current society. There are good men out there. They might not meet some of what the women are championing or vying for. It's women are now in comparison with the list and don't want to come up short in comparison with other women with their list. So I don't believe there's a short of good men. I don't believe there's a short of good women. It's just that man and woman, we all must put our priorities in place. It's about prioritizing, and then after that, allowing that relationship or that person you're looking for to happen organically. But it's setting the priority in place first, which is what? That's right, receiving the Most High and establishing the values of that God in our lives. That's who we need to link into. And then after that, if it be the Most High's will, he'll bring that man that's searching for that woman and that woman who's searching for that man together. He or she may not meet your list, okay? No one can get everything they want, but at least you both will be on one accord concerning what is family, okay? According to the God you both choose to serve together, right? So thank you, sister. That's the whole thing. I don't want to get into this thing where there's not enough good men, good women. I think it's been redefined through social media. And no one is good enough for each other right now. It's all about the avatar. It's all about the image online. And we've left that old, I would say the good old way of viewing relationships. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in week 8. Okay. A man or a woman may not have all this gaudy list and tick all the boxes. We have to wipe these lists away and deal with what the Most High intended with us from the beginning. And back then, before the internet, somehow we were able to find one another. We were able to be more married than we are today. So, well, thank you, my brother. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. Let me ask you, have you gotten with the church over there in England yet?
I'm still not able to. I did, as I said, I don't know if you remember, I did manage to go to the body in Jamaica when I was on holiday over there. Because the weather in the UK is so unsettled, it does have a terrible effect on me. And I have no transportation, but I am still trying.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a number to Gocc, and we'll work it out. We'll work it out for you, okay?
Okay, Tawada.
Blessings.
All praises.
Yeah, blessings, and get well. Okay, get well.
Shalom.
All right.
Yes, I will try. Shalom.
All right. Leah has a comment.
Shalom, Elder Rakashia. This is Sister Leah in Texas, and I really appreciate the lesson tonight because we're having a situation with, our candidates that run for school board. I'm the one that goes to the school board meetings, take notes and everything. And we had some candidates that were all black that ran for office this past election in May. And we didn't realize until the Wednesday before May the 6th that these people had given our candidates the wrong map so that they would go to the people that couldn't even vote for them. And we have written down about 50 things that we saw that were incorrect, just dirty, low-down things that they did to the candidates that we had no idea. They just kept unfolding and we write it down. This would happen, that would happen. They have gone and got a law firm against us. They did this after the 2020 census. I started paying attention to a lot of data that they have on these websites and stuff. You better pay attention to that because they took the census, after the census, and they went and got a law firm, and they redistricted us, and we didn't even know it. So I'm in district, let's for say example, I'm in District 3. And the woman that was, the black woman that was running for District 3, her name wasn't even on my ballot when I went to go vote for her. Because even though I live in District 3, they have my name to vote on District 1, the white people's district.
Okay, so what you're saying is they're messing around with the ballots and all these things when it comes to the political process. They're messing with our people's votes.
Yes, the woman that ran for office, I was helping her. And then I had an unction the day of the election to get up and go help her some more. Something came to me and said, she's going to lose by 2 votes. And I called her and told her, I'm going to go see if I can ask 2 more people. Now look at the new map. See, they didn't post the map that was the true map until the Wednesday before. But in February, they gave her the old map. She had been going to the wrong people to ask for them to vote for her.
Let me
put up the right map.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and I have a question for you. And this is what I asked some of the pastors out of nowhere who began to allow women to take over the pulpit in the 90s going into the 2000s. Let me ask you a question. Aren't you concerned about the lack of strong black men today for political office and representing you? Aren't you alarmed that you are more so working to put a woman in a political position opposed to a strong black man? That's not alarming to you?
I also helped.
Listen, make it clear. Make it clear. Make it clear. Not that either one can help fix our scenario. I'm just curious because it seems to me, looking at the political landscape of these big cities, that for some reason strategically they're putting black women in all of these positions that were once manned by black men. That should be alarming to sisters. That should be alarming.
I've been in politics. I've been in politics since I was 18, and I don't want to be a politician, but I want to help the ones that do run. And we helped. This was the first woman that I helped. I've always helped the men.
Okay.
They have the
all right.
the black men, this is what they do to the black men.
Yeah.
When the black men run and they have a forum, they don't even tell the black men about the forum. They'll have the forum where people can ask questions in a whole nother city. You understand? When I tell you we have to dig for information, you just wouldn't believe.
Okay. Okay, sister.
Male candidate.
Sister, I'm going to have a political conversation, but it's one thing that stood out for me right here. You said that when a black man is in position within the political process, that they would set up a meeting separate from him to undermine him in another city?
Yeah, like we had a candidate run for county sheriff.
Yeah.
County judge. He lives in the town I live in, but the county is the second largest county in Texas. And they've had the forum in a whole nother place, a whole nother town about 35, 40 miles away. And the only reason that he knew about it is because a black man that used to be the county sheriff in his town heard about it and told the man that lived in Texarkana and came and picked him up and took him so he'd have a bodyguard. You get it?
And listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to take your number because I want to bring you in on another conversation down the line. I'll probably have you in the academy because it's something I wanted to talk about from the political process and actually paralleling that with how we should deal with any process politically when it comes to us being the Israelites. And I want to talk about that. It's a whole other conversation. Probably a sit-down forum we'll do this on. But let me tell you why I'm alarmed real quick. To why I'm concerned about a lack of black men in political positions. It's not because I'm a man, right? It's because of this. I don't believe in the political system at all. Prophetically, I understand what's going on. But what they've used to get the black man out of position only to replace the black man with the black woman, they're using the same process to replace the black woman with the Asians. And what I fear is that there'll be no representation politically at all in a couple of years. And at that point, they'll begin to send all types of, believe me, they'll construct a scenario that would get rid of us, without pushback. Keep in mind, when there was some representation, at least there was people in place for self-preservation. They had a voice and they were present. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the same way we have allowed black men to get phased out is how they're slowly but surely demonizing black women and soon will phase them out of the political structure altogether. That's a plan. So what I'm saying is there should be more of a stringent fight when they're switching men out of position. And it seems as if there's no resistance. And if you don't fight to keep at least the political strength you have in place, which is your man representation, there'll be no one to fight for you when the Asians come to take that position. So, sister, I put down your number and I have to get through these calls. We're going to call you because I need a conversation where you can let us know, right, whether or not you're still believing in this political structure. Matter of fact, let me ask you that question last. Is this recreation for you, or do you believe in the political structure? And do you believe it benefits our people?
I don't believe that it benefits our people. I helped write the legislation for reparations, and then I realized I'm going to do it, but If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I've come into some knowledge. You know, my eyes are opened wider than they have been before. But no, I don't believe that it's for us. There's no way it could be for us. I keep journals. I write, and I have books after books of things, and I'm putting it together. And with your help, listening to you on certain things, I get a piece of puzzle here, a piece of puzzle there. No, I don't believe in our political system at all, and I'm not trying to stay here, but I don't want to sit here and do nothing. When I say there was an election, it was the school board, and I believe that we have to fight against the school board for certain things that they are doing, like trying to buy up our property and pretend like it's someone else, because we have a lot of property. But the Holy Spirit, I guess, just showed it to us. You know, hey, we know that this is the school board trying to get our property because of where we live. It's not real, because it's just people that they're saying.
Well, sister,
I've learned so much.
Sister, you have so much. You have so much knowledge to share, operating in that sector for years. So let me have a private conversation with you, and we'll have you on as a guest, and we can talk about what really goes down within the political apparatus. And you will be a guest on that particular program. You'll do that with us?
Sure, you know I will.
All right. So hold tight. You'll soon be receiving a call by myself. I'll call you up. We'll get that together. Thank you, sister. All right, bless you.
Okay,
bless
thank you, Elder.
All right.
Shalom.
Shalom. And see, and I want brothers and sisters to understand that knowledge is knowledge, right? I'm not underestimating a sister's experience and knowledge in a certain area. If it's for our people, if our people are operating, that's information that benefits the whole. So it's not really, you understand? I want people to understand that. I've never been a thing where it's, if it's not coming from a woman, it isn't valid. No, our women are all up in the process, and they have the knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge, and if it can be used for the benefit of our people, male or female, give us the information. Thank you. Nick has a question.
Hello.
Hey, she knows her stuff too. Shalom. How you doing, Nick?
Hello, Shalom. How you doing? Well, I first want to ask because I know when I last talked to you on live during the before the Passover, and you said you were going to call me personally.
Okay.
And I believe you tried to.
Okay.
And I didn't. I just didn't happen to answer the phone.
Okay, you did what?
Oh, I'm sorry. You tried to. You said you were going to call me personally before the Passover. And I was a young man who was talking to you. And you tried to call through the Waterbury Church.
No, listen, brother. Real quick, you said that I was going to give you something?
No, you were going to call.
Call. Okay, what city and state are you in?
I live in Manchester, Connecticut, and
you live where?
The Waterbury Church. I live in Manchester, Connecticut, and I'm a part of the Waterbury Church.
Okay, now Connecticut. How old are you?
21.
21. Young man, powerful. Nick. Okay, Nick, you know what? I'll be calling you up tomorrow, actually. I'm going to put the date on here, and I'll call you up tomorrow.
But other than that, I guess I did have somewhat of a question.
Yes.
And I just wondered that, I'm young, and I just wondered, why even, and I'm a Gentile, so I'm not an Israelite, but I wonder why even bother, looking at, if politics can be helpful, but I'm wondering why not even look at that? It's all gonna, unless we can get the country to follow God, it's just going to fall apart anyways.
Well, let me tell you, Nick, why it must be discussed. Because our people's spirit is intertwined in it. And the Bible, why do you think the Bible stated that we're not to trust in Pharaoh or in Egypt?
Because, well, I mean, I don't fully understand it.
Yeah,
Maybe
let me
that
drop
they're
it
not
on
of
you.
God.
That was really a rhetorical question. The reason why is because what they're not telling you is that our political system is really a religious system. It's a religious system that takes us away from our dependence and belief or in fear of our God. See? And this is why we must attack it and understand. Listen to what I'm saying. Politics. Let me give you some politics. In the book of Matthew, the Sadducees and scribes got together and says, let's get Christ out of the way, lest the Romans come and take our wealth and our place in the empire. So you have to realize politically, through influence, the government backs who can influence the people. So Christ was a political threat. This is why they wanted him dead. That's politics. Another thing, when they brought him before Pilate, and Pilate washed his hands. Pilate was really what? The high magistrate in governance. That's right, tasked and paid for by Rome to judge the matter. That's politics. But then Christ told us how to deal with politics, right? Because why? If you're under a government, there's no way to navigate from it. One way or the other, the political structure will affect you and your family's life. So you must understand the politics. But Christ said what? You render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and render unto God what is God's. Which means what? Think about this. You follow the laws, you pay your taxes, and you render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But you are not to compromise your position with God for Caesar. You understand that? When they try to influence you concerning your position with God, they're overstepping their position in governance. Their governance is under the prince of this world. We follow the king, who's Christ. And guess what? And you cannot ignore the politics. Because if you ignore the politics, you'll be destroyed. And the example of that is...
And also you wouldn't know prophecy.
You wouldn't know prophecy. Let me give you another political scenario. Nero allegedly burned some shops in Rome and blamed it on our people who are Israelites in Jerusalem. And that gave them the political high ground to begin to police Jerusalem. And then after that, guess what? The prophecy says when Jerusalem shall be compassed with armies, flee into the wilderness. Well, that was a political initiative to have armies police Jerusalem. If we didn't know politics, we would have stayed there and gotten destroyed instead of fleeing into Africa. So you must look at the political landscape and understand it prophetic-wise, from the prophecy standpoint. And you can do that without participating in it or with it. It's a religious institution. They won't tell you that, but it is. And guess what? Yeah, that religious institution was established by who? The prince of the power of the air. The eye, which is what? You got it. Above the pyramid, Lucifer. So you can't be dismissive. If you don't know what's going on politically, you cannot understand at all what's happening prophetically. You got that?
Like for example, I remembered Donald Trump is saying a lot of stuff that he's going to come and, as president, he's going to bring down all of this, all the LGBTQ stuff, and then obviously people are going to be happy about that. But then slowly but surely they're going to start grinding it up and trying to bring back mortals like Hitler did, and then you're going to start bringing all the bad stuff. Because during the Nazi Party they brought back a lot of mortals at that time. People believed in it, and then they turned it around.
Well, Nick, let me give you some insight. At the end game, out of the misdirection, what are their true plans, the governments of this earth? What is the overall plan? Let me ask you that. Politically, what is the plan?
To get the beast in control.
Okay. No, I'm gonna make it simple for you. To destroy the people you're looking at right now, the children of Israel, because we have next. And on top of that, simultaneously, bring all of the world under a what? A mind control order to fight against the coming of Christ. Period. So that's the overarching political agendas of what? The elite. That's really what the plan is in a nutshell. So the best thing you can do is stand on the right side of this. Right? Convert. Denounce all idols that come with the Gentiles, and follow the true gospel, which is under Christ, that's being delivered through his people. All right? And you'll be spared what's going to happen to the rest of the Gentile nations who defy the God of all gods. I have your number, and we'll call you up soon. Okay, young man?
And is there... Yes, sir.
All right, bless you.
And Elder, can I add something here real quick?
Yes, sir. You absolutely can, Gocc. You absolutely can. What say you?
Just check this out. In the book of Maccabees, 1st chapter, 11th verse. In those days, there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go up and make covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So there's always people within us who are always looking to go up and keep covenant with the oppressors, to keep us oppressed. That's politics.
Yes.
That's what your pastors are doing right now. Your prosperity pastors, every single one of them out there doing that right now.
Absolutely. So you just can't wholesale, just like an ostrich, stick your head in the sand and say, well, let me ignore it altogether because it's not of God. That's ignorant in of itself. If you don't understand politics, you don't understand prophecy. You have to use the Bible and filter the politics and who's who through the Bible. Like you, Elder Gocc, able to point out the wicked men who aligned themselves with and became Hellenists under Greek policy. On and on and on. And this is how we delineate or separate ourselves from those who prophetically destroyed us in the past. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the people who've always sold out amongst our people. They're, believe it or not, they're really the greatest, really the serious issue we have to deal with. Okay? The other nations don't have to do much if our people are willing to do it for them. Okay? So, great point. Great point. All right. We only have 2 more calls, and then that concludes 270, then Sunshine. Somebody tried to disguise themselves as Sunshine last week. 270 area code.
Shalom, brother. How you doing?
I'm blessed by the Almighty. Yourself?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. I was just thinking about what you were talking about as far as what's going on in New York and with the immigrants. And I was watching one of my favorite movies the other day called Gangs in New York. You ever seen that?
Yep. I seen it.
Well, it's funny because politics, and especially the Democratic Party in reference to the immigrants, hasn't changed since 1863. You know, it's funny, you know, how you were talking about what's going on with, you know, how the immigrants are up in y'all's rec centers and basically circumventing y'all. And Daniel Day-Lewis, he made a statement, you know, he was like, you know, I don't see no Americans. I just see Irish hearts, because it was the Irish that was the immigrants at the time. And he was like, they do a job for a nickel, what an N-word does for a dime, and a white man used to get a quarter for. And I'm just like, wow. You know, I was watching that, and I was like, man, that's pretty much what Elder says, but not in those words. You know, as far as how they circumvent y'all, and then 2 generations later, they're able to become, you know, they're able to advance up to above y'all, basically. You know what I mean?
I mean, think about it. Through the Most High, we built the country, right? They brought in the immigrants who were They brought in the immigrants of America who were Italians, and the Italians made themselves a part of the political structure and catapulted right over us. Even
the Irish did it first, yeah.
Yeah, the Irish did it, then the Italians, and we built the country. And now the Asians came last, same system, and now they are now over the political construct in all the major cities, right up over us with the same program. And like I was mentioning, of course, the government isn't going to do anything different, brother. Why? Because it works every time. Our people will not change. We will not view this as it should be viewed ever. This is why they don't change the model. They just switch out the people. And no other people would have allowed this in particular to continue to happen to them with the same playbook over and over and over again. Let me tell you, if we're not,
you gotta look at you gotta. I'm sorry. You gotta look at the ideology they're bringing in too. These Ukrainians and a lot of these Asians, they've been raised under communism for the past 70 years. You gotta keep that in mind too, of how that's going to influence our politics, especially within the Democratic Party, which is already socialist and communist to a certain degree.
Listen, brother, if they had,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. If they had time. If they had the time, real time, if they had 10, just say if they had 20 more years, in 20 years, if they had it, every black church in the United States would be turned into apartments if they had the time. It's over.
I can see that.
Listen,
I can see that.
They started with our schools. West Philadelphia is a loft now. They have luxury loft apartments in West Philly High now. And next it will be the churches. Church is going to be new apartments, or they're going to turn them into luxury apartments, or they'll probably use it for anything else. But I'm gonna tell you, our people sold out. They've sold their souls. So great point, brother.
I live in Tennessee, and I live in one of the red states, and I'm seeing, just for the past 6 months, I've seen so many homeless black women out, something I've never seen before. And I stopped and gave one $5 one time, and I just had to ask her, I'm like, what is going on? I have never seen y'all out here until a few months ago. Why are so many of y'all homeless now?
Brother.
And she was like,
go ahead, I'm listening.
We've gotten kicked out.
Hey, brother, I'm telling you, you haven't seen anything yet, because now that they shift the legislation under black, brown, and minority and LGBTQ, let me tell you, my brother, that whole Section 8 in EBT game is about to change. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, I believe it because even though I'm white, my son is black. I'm a single dad. He's autistic, and I'm just like, how come I can't get anything? You would think I'd be first in line. He's 10 years old and still in diapers. What's going on there?
Damn.
But yeah, they circumvented even the poor white folks. Let me
tell
you.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, when Esau can't get nothing out of the system, it's over. When you already know. I'm gonna tell you, when Esau is saying he can't get no stamps, yeah, this thing is about to hit. It's about to hit the fan, my brother. But you know what? You got Christ, and we're the saints of the Most High who's paving the way, Bigsby. Come on in.
I'd actually like you to call me. I don't know if there's a way to get baptized around where I'm at, but I've actually been listening to y'all for some time now. It's funny how I came across y'all. I wasn't even looking for a Bible lesson. It was right after Donald Trump got elected. I typed in Donald Trump Freemason.
Oh, I thought this was Bigsby. This ain't Bigsby. This is Tyler. How you doing, Tyler? I never met you before, right?
Yeah. You got me hooked on beef bacon. Let me tell you, that's you.
Okay. Oh, Tyler.
But yes, sir.
What?
I came in. You had done a lesson called the Masonic selection of Trump, and that was the very first video I ever saw of you guys, and I was just like, wow, okay, they're going into some stuff that I've never heard anybody else go into.
Oh, all praise be to the Most High. I'm gonna tell you what I did, Tyler. I went and got me some cow belly, right? Straight from the butcher. Applesauce and seasons, and put it in there for about 3 days. Cured it real well with all the seasons. Rinsed it off. And I made me a slicer, and I sliced the beef bacon nice and thin. Let me tell you, young man, you've never tasted anything like this. If you eat it like that, the way I sliced it, you wouldn't even think about pork bacon anymore. I cured it, made it, cut it, and I even got more things. We're picking blueberries over here. I'm putting my ribs out there, man. That farming thing, brother, we about to do it. So Tyler, get ready, because you know the children of Israel, we coming up next, right?
Yeah, I already know. I'm trying to get on the right side of things, you know.
All right.
You know, if it wasn't for my son's mother, I would have never figured out none of this. It was really because of her prayers that I even learned any of this. Like, seriously. It's amazing, actually. She's no longer here, but...
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's okay. It's okay. She passed around the same time your mother did, so I'm sorry for you too. But hey, man, you know, it still goes on. You know.
Yeah.
She was on dialysis, and she was just praying for the truth, and we were caught up in the Egyptian consciousness. We had a lot of friends that were involved with that, and then she's just like, man, something about that ain't right, and she just prayed to get it. And before you know it, she was in the hospital one day. I'm messing around on the internet, and I start coming across stuff, and I'm like, whoa, okay. It's the Bible that's true. It's the religion that's fake. I couldn't separate the two beforehand, you know. But
all praises, all praises. Well,
I appreciate y'all for what y'all do, man. I appreciate y'all coming out here every Wednesday and Saturday and continuing to do this year after year. I appreciate it.
You welcome. Well, Tyler, I'm going to call you up, brother, and welcome to the body, and all praises. And his name is Ahia. Pray in that name. That's the God of all gods.
Oh, I already know.
My man. All right,
I
bless
already
you.
know, brother.
Bless
I already
you, my
know.
All right.
Please, I'll be looking forward to your phone call, brother. You have a blessed evening.
You bless you, my brother. This gospel shall be taught throughout the four corners of the earth, God, and then the end shall come. What say you, God, before we bring sunshine in?
Just when the brother just said just before that dialysis, man, one of our brothers them over there in California is on dialysis. I'm asking, you know, the brothers within the body of the four corners to just send some prayers up for him. Brother Bruns.
Yes. And Bruns, I don't know, I've walked Bruns through, I talked with him. I was through the whole process at the hospital. We made sure through the Spirit of the Most High, he had the herbs that can help supplement while he go through the process. And hopefully his dialysis is a temporal situation. So that's right. Let's continue our prayers up. But I was with him through the whole process to make sure nothing happened to him. So
yeah, man. Praise the Most High, man.
All right.
I found out late, you know. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I was there. Even his wife was calling me while he was in the hospital. Believe me, we was up on everything. But I want to travel to California, see him myself, and we do have. I'm going to set a little music tour with praise music and all that. Where we're going to be going from coast to coast, international, and dropping the word from here to Africa. So I'm going to be talking to you about that, God, just soon. All right.
That's right. Yes, sir. That's right.
All right, but we going with Bronze where the music is. So I'm gonna go out and see him soon. So all praises. All right. All right. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. Last call for the day. Sunshine. This concludes our weekly broadcast. Sunshine, talk to us.
Shalom. Hello. Hi. Hello.
Shalom. What's happening?
Hello. Shalom.
Now that's Sunshine. Yeah, we thought someone cloned you last week. Talk to us.
Hello?
Yeah, we thought your clone was talking last week. Who cloned Sunshine?
Elder.
Come on, girl. You got to come with it. Come with it.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Elder. History repeats itself. We have trusted in oppression and stayed thereon from one kingdom to the next, homeborn in our mindset to acquiesce to the label of us as slaves to the nations who have despitefully used us, hit them and anyone who's despitefully used us, and continue to use us as they use their laws against us from Egypt to Egypt spiritually now. And we have given our talents onto those, without the gate, who won't appreciate them but operate as dogs and swines and sorcerers against us. And when a moment to get out of the rut and the loop-de-loop is presented to us to be that light, we shun it and mock it and try to tear it down in our defiances and rebellion in our lives against our kingdom and our own power. And instead we lean towards on the wickedness and the consequences of our choices and coddle all the things that have torn us down, so that instead of rising to our rightful places in order and responsibility and legacy onto the third and fourth generation, we in essence claim victimhood in a proud look, and we act out of pocket and act the part and stake this claim to slavery and being abused and cursed generationally to avoid the righteous code that is everything in the law of God that would guide us, and we would be guided by the Spirit unto the day of redemption. But just like the times of Samuel when we rejected the freedom under our Lord and Savior and under our Father in heaven, we again envy the ways of the Gentiles, so the split kingdom is again split, and again we are tributaries to all others wide open for the taking, because Moses' line is again drawn in the sand and Christ has drawn that line. And so those of us who say we love Christ but really hate him as he is written in the word are swallowed up by the whole earth unto death and destruction. Without Christ we are seen and treated as guilty because we are guilty without his blood, and because of the embrace of a multitude of delusions and sounds of the airs and waves, we latch on knowing the judgment. But these who do love Christ, really love him and choose Christ and embrace the truth, the way, and the life according to the word, are Israel, who are Israel and are of the free with the remnant Gentiles and are not bound by the lies and fear and worldwide deceptions and idolatry. So those that choose sin and are subjected to all that comes with sin, and including the invisible and being voiceless, and those who choose to replace their power, they are replaced, but whereas those who choose Christ, there's power in our hands for the remnant with eyes to see, and we're never broken as long as we hold fast unto death. And so we know that we will have life everlasting, so the battle is already won.
That's right.
That's all I wanted to say.
It's already won. The battle's won. There you go, sunshine. There you go. Shalom. Y'all know she write all that down, right? But anyway, that concludes our broadcast. Let's end it this evening with...
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
The Brothers from Texas, featuring Lion and King, Kazada War, Hour of Temptation. I'm going to call you up in a moment. Gaja.
Yes, sir.
My man. It's good to see you. Let's do it. Hebrew Bible Academy, historytimes.org. We're going into week 7. The 4 beasts of Daniel's. All empires lead into what? America, then the mark of the beast. Historical and archaeological proof behind it. Then week 8, we're going to jump right in with the panel. The battle between man and woman. That's right. Singles and married. Men on one side, women on the other, coming to a consensus. Hold tight. Keep in mind, we're living in the hour of temptation. If it interests you, go to historytimes.org to enroll. Shalom and have a great evening. I kind of like these earlier broadcasts. I do. All right. Shalom, Elder Lawyer. Bless you. Bless you, young man. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Let's get it in.
kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And this is revelation. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pray I say, the Bible said I was mad. Get it. Temptations coming, gon' fill up my cup. Feeling weak, gon' hit my line, knocking, I pull up 2 or 3. Ride in his name, and you know what's up. Demons flee when they hear the name. That's enough, it bring me peace. I'm not worried about so-and-so, I'm straight. Itching ears, people die daily, but I know in truth is engineered. Tell them store rations, famines coming, and the end is near. You gon' die as prophesied, they tell you not to mention fear. Players come and roll up your sleeves and take one of these. Seen the purge, never mind, you can see it in the streets. Get your passport, cause your ops coming. You need you a man, girlfriend, the cops not coming. Revelations been revealed, no longer with jigsaw. Hit the bank with a mask on and make a withdrawal. It's the new Babylon, baby, everything is legal. Change your name and your zip code and your chromosomes. Yeah, that's martial law, call him Jack Boo. Come to ink your heart on your sleeve like a tattoo. If you don't cooperate, you ain't see us on no street corners prophesying, telling you it might pop up today. Pray the most high, keep a hedge around me. High time we gotta see this what the prophets wanna see. See my own family turn their back on me. Enemies screaming peace when we know what that means. Whoa, we in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain, you be taken if you sin it. The evils will increase, this is only the beginning. As in the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant, as it was written.
The most are sending plagues on this earth as before. Even the people you love the most, the Bible said it turn to foe. Protect your family, keep them close. Resident evil creeping close. Still sleep, you don't want to see. If you woke, then you gon' know when it be time to go. Ain't gonna be stopping, no. The enemy watching close, but the most I got is though. Better get your mind right. This all happened before. Remember Lot's wife and Noah, it's right at the door. The end is near, it's real. You got that still, but it won't matter unless you seal with the Holy Spirit, and that's for real. I'm just keeping it 144. Yeah, your soul on the line. I just wanna put it on your mind. Now's the time to draw the line. I don't speak with riddles. It's left or right, no middle. Oh, you wanna be hot and cold? You don't wanna be turned to spittle. You block your blessings, trying to live your life just like the wicked. You tripping. They time is ending while I was beginning. It's written. The opposition, man, we on the mission. Repentance. You ain't forgiven if you ain't forgiven. You get it? Don't spend your life living in competition. If it ain't by Christ up in your life, then you must keep your distance. Yeshaya, my king, Ahaya, my papa, Rawak, my mama. Not all that power, nada can stop us. We good, endure this fighting. As always, don't stress, stay blessed and get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right.
We in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain, you be taken if you sin it. The evils will increase, this is only the beginning. As in the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant in his white linen. It's about damn time, it's consummation of times. We judging Optimus Prime. Your cousin dropping the dime, so you in the coat. Well, like that folk, Christ said all hell about to begin. Before we crack, I'm warming up and sitting on chairs just like a hen. Before the cock crow, they gon' knock down dogs. No Pimp C, Lil Kiki, Cyclops like Star. See the beam in your eye, I can spot that mold. Plus the vengeance of the Lord, plus Christ my hold. Ready to insert they medical mercs. They ready to purge, then put up the hearse. They prophesying for the profit, but the people sign with no profit. See, I'ma tell like lobsters. You a shrimp, scampi, and pasta. But the hope when you run, no eyes are cold. Blow the trumpet because some might not know. It's still like a diamond. We racing 1,000. The 7 is climbing. We on heavenly timing. Better get it shaky if you can't run from a dog. A higher was on, you know, we roaming the woods like a hawk. Decomposing their motives like them other parts that be under a law. We can see in the fog. We the chosen, unfolding a hopeless media fraud. Wizard of Oz, the key to the call.
And not obey the voice of my teachers. That means during the whole process, the teachers were given instruction. And we decided during the most prominent time in this earth, the most prophetic time in this earth, after all the works we put forth, After all the love we showed towards the Most High prior, we decided at the very last hour not to listen. He set up teachers to instruct the people. And anyone claiming that they're not following teachers and they just led by the Spirit and read the Bible by themselves, guess who's in the house with you? Guess who your teacher is? The devil. Satan is your teacher. The Most High has an order in heaven and on earth. And it behooves every one of the people within this earth, with total humility, to find that teacher and give them double honor, or you'll be out there by yourself. And guess what, brothers and sisters? No one can contend against this hour of temptation by themselves. No one.